The 2025 installment of the WWE 2K series is arguably the most complicated one in the entire modern era. Because, on one hand, this game, for the most part, has finally gotten the wrestling part right. 2K finally was able to do it, find the perfect balance between arcade and simulation, with arguably the best gameplay we have seen in years. On the other hand, we have the corporate side and what they want. And what they want is money. Microtransactions, how they're going to get it. And they have MyFACTION and a brand new game mode that got introduced that essentially amplifies their desire for as much money that they can get in a given year. These things are just pulling the game away from being the pure and fun wrestling game that I think every WWE and wrestling and game fan in general just wants. This is WWE 2K25, the game that, although 2K finally got the wrestling part right, it came with a price. Oh, oh, you guys are already here. What's up, Michael? Everyone is going to spawn in out of nowhere. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Just thanks. Well, first off, before we even get started, I just want to say, for those who the past 25 days, I know some people came in like midway, like around Here Comes the Pain was really the start of it, people coming. And for those who stayed with me this whole time, I appreciate it. When I initially started this event, so this original idea, quick thing, this original idea was not what you our guys have been currently seeing past 25 days. Originally, this was supposed to happen prior to 2K26 coming out. I was just going to play every wrestling game, same order, just before 2K26. But then my mind started racing. I was like, no, I'm not just gonna play on stream just for the sake of playing. I want to have a purpose of doing this. I don't want to just play the game. I want to like present why each game mattered. And I knew I couldn't just do that by just playing it. So I needed some time to prep. Eventually I knew with all this prep work that I was gonna miss the deadline of 2K26, but I didn't care. I wanted to see this event exactly how I envisioned it. And this was what it was. Obviously, everything goes according to plan, but for the most part, it did how I wanted to present this live stream. Because I don't want to just live stream for the sake of live streaming. I want to have a purpose, a reasoning. Because anybody could just cut on a game and start streaming. I want to have it. I want these live streams to have a reason behind them outside of me just cutting on the camera and playing. Because anyone can do that. So again, everyone who's here, I just want to thank you all. It means a lot. I truly thought that when I first started this, no one was gonna watch. I figured this was gonna be more of a live on demand thing, but you guys are already here, and I appreciate that so much. So that's just want to get that out the way. And I also mentioned again, this is the end of the event. So what is the future of how this is going to be moving forward? Well, I'm definitely gonna be doing a lot more live streams. I mean, live streams are back on the menu, boys, as they would say. But I'm definitely gonna need a break. At least 1 week, I'm gonna have to need a break and just regroup and rethink what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna definitely skip. My goal, minimum 3 live streams a month, but they're gonna be a lot longer. So instead of 2 hours, because I purposely made all of these 2 hours, because I knew it was 25 days straight. There's no way I could do like 5 or 6 hours, 25 days straight. That would be absolutely insane. At least definitely with my current schedule. But these 3 live streams a month are going to be more longer, so the minimum going to be 4 hours per stream. So even though we're scaling it back, there's just going to be longer durations, and then hopefully during this brief time off, I'm going to figure out what type of live stream I'm going for and all that good stuff. So there's that. This month, for probably next month, is probably going to be a little bit of shorts. I haven't done that recently. I got to get back in the groove of trying to make some creative shorts, because shorts is, in a way, for me, shorts is kind of like my tool of trying new stuff that I would probably implement into my long form and live streams. I usually test them out in shorts, since they're like the least path, what's the word I'm looking for, lowest barrier to entry of trying to create something that I'm trying to envision in the easiest way possible in a short amount of time. So yeah, that's what I'm probably gonna do. And then I don't want to give you a proper time. I don't want to give you a proper exact date. I don't want you to quote me on that. But we'll be back within the next month, going back on live streams again. It's just after 20 guys, I don't think you understand. I've been working for 25 days straight on less than 4 hours of sleep every single day. So it's like I no I trust me. This is I've been looking every day. I've looked forward to this precise moment at 8 o'clock, but it's like it took only I've been using only 4 hours of sleep in doing so. So after this stream, this will be the first time I'm probably get a proper 8 hours of sleep in over a month. So yeah, that's why as much as I would love to do it, um I have to take at least a week off to figure some things out. Yeah, take a break, bro. You took your energy out for these streams, and I hope that was conveyed to you. I hope that was conveyed through the streams itself, Slade. And I really do appreciate that. Do you still buy physical games? Well, as you can see from the thing behind me, yes, I do. I haven't bought any of the current games because all my current games are on PC in terms of the 2K series, Wrestling IG. And thanks for stopping by. But yeah, so I guess with that, I just wanted to get that all that out the way. And also, just I guess we might as well go over here since there are a few people here. I don't want to leave you guys hanging per se for like the next week or so. So I mean, I quietly put this on my channel without really announcing anything, not even on my community tab. But I actually have a membership here on the channel called Creator Plus. I know, what a fantastic name. Just put the plus next to Creator. So I made a membership tier. If you do decide to join, completely optional. You get these 4 custom emotes, and more will be unlocked along the way. And also right now, if you do decide to join, you have this members only video. When I say members only video, it's only going to be members only. There will be some cases where it'll be members first, but this one is 100% members only. It is the first 3 minutes of the Here Comes the Pain documentary that I've been working on. So the first 3 minutes, which is pretty much all I got, but prior to me making this event, you guys will be able to see the rough cut of it. The only thing that's not there is like the mixing of the music, but everything else is presented. It's like, consider this more of concept. I've never made like a full-fledged documentary before. I'm trying to make this like, if this was on Apple TV or Netflix. I know it's a wrestling video game. I know that sounds ambitious, but I'm trying to do something new. So there's that. You can see the first 3 minutes. And no one else will be able to see this. So just for members only. Just wanted to point that out. But going back to our regularly scheduled program, WWE 2K25, published by 2K, developed by Visual Concepts. Nothing new there. we're going to be getting that we're at the end of the stream, and yes, nothing's changed there. However, Xbox Series X, PS5, PC, Xbox One, and PS4. These would be the final games. Oh, well, God damn it. No, these will be the final games to be released on the Xbox One and PS4. So when 2K from 2K, how it is kind of fitting how it ended exactly 10 years later, kind of in a sense, since they had a year off. It started 2K technically started the series with 2K15. I know it's 2K14 by name, but I hopefully through these streams you understand why it's really a THQ game, despite the name itself. Exactly 10 years later, for the most part, they're ending it with 2K25. Was that intentional? Probably. Or actually, no, probably not, because if you look at 2K26 graphics wise, it's exactly the same as 2K25. So it's not like them dropping last gen. It's not like them dropping last gen meant anything in the grand scheme of things. So yeah. But yeah, it's, all those things. And also, which we will get into, depending on which version you got, you're getting a exclusive mode, and the other one you're getting cheated out of. So if you got the next gen versions, Xbox Series X and S and PS5, you got an exclusive game mode, which it was in fact the main selling point of this entire game, which we will get into shortly. If you got the Steam, Xbox One, and PS4 versions, you did not get this mode. You were considered dubbed last gen, which we will get into. There's a whole story behind this, which we will get into shortly. But the 2K25 cover superstar is Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, but obviously it's just Roman Reigns. There was also 2 other additions. The Dead Man. See, being an Undertaker fan, right? This is a perfect example of like, I wish these were printed. This looks absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, there's no physical release of the deluxe edition. And then the Bloodline edition. I just want to point out how hilarious it is that Tonga Loa, who just got released, was only in the company for 2 years, yet he managed to be part of the cover superstars You know how many people who's been in the company for like over a decade, for over a decade or even longer than that never graced the cover of this video game series, but somehow Tongaloa was able to do it in only 2 years of him being the company. I mean, I like Tongaloa. I think he's funny as hell. He always botches stuff, but it's just the hilarity of that he was able to get on the cover first. I guess, hey, it pays to be part of the bloodline. I'm just saying, it's surprising how the Xbox One PS4 made it this far. This game was the one where you could tell the last gen run was coming to it. I mean, the last gen run was coming to an end, and I thought it was holding it back. Here, I thought 2K26. Oh man, this is gonna be like 2K15's level of, all right, let's see what we got. Nope, it looks exactly the goddamn same. I shit you not. There is no difference. Yes, the lighting might be slightly better and everything, like the models are slightly polished, but it's literally exactly the same. You put these two side by side, there is no goddamn difference. So it's like, what was the point of dropping it then? I mean, I'm glad that they dropped it. They could just focus on the stuff, but it's like, it looks exactly the same. I was expecting like a leap in graphics, but it's like, what? What? But yeah, the removal of the island split communications can't have beyond 4-man backstage falls, LED barricade damage. Blood doesn't flow seamlessly. No NPC on ground match either. There's a lot. Oh, yeah, there's a lot to cover in this game. And the first half of what you said is the main story I'm going to be talking about. Cause there's a lot more to the story there's a lot backstory that came to this moment with the island. There's a lot of people who are only on the game cover once, and none of them at all. Like Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was in the company for almost 15 years, never got graced the cover. You like people like Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods. It's like Tongaloa, who's only in there for 2 years. 2 years. Was able to get not only the cover but the premium. You had to buy the pristine, most expensive copy to have Tongaloa, and Tongaloa's on. It's like I just the irony does not does not leave me there on that one. There's a lot of people who are only did you like the Bloodline edition? I mean, for the content that it had, I mean, if you're a Bloodline fan, fine. I mean, I like the fact that they have the Rock what the Nation of Domination '97, I believe. Anything Attitude Era related, I'm all for. But I mean, outside of that, it's just an excuse for you to get more money out of you for stuff that was already in the game day one. They just spread it out, like except for obviously the Bloodline edition. You know, it doesn't say by name. It includes WrestleMania 41 once it came out a little bit later, and also two exclusive attires from that night, and one extra superstar, which they didn't announce at the time, but it turned out to be Aleister Black. Because they were holding, so basically you're wondering how they got Aleister Black in so quickly, because if people tend to forget, Aleister Black came back in April 2025. They released him in May of 2025 in the game. How did they do that? Well, they've been sitting on that Aleister Black model since 2K22. And they decided just to put it in the game. And then they slightly updated him a little after the fact to make him look how he looks right now. But they've been sitting on that Aleister Black model since 2K22. So this is, I mean, which is part of the full circle here. This game has been running on the same engine since 2K22. The fact that they can import models from there, so that should just tell you all you need to know of like, what are we doing here, people? For the past 5 years, nothing has really progressed in this. They have an engine and they're just going to stick to it, which is fine. If it works, it works. I'm not going to complain. With all that said, there was one more edition at the end of the year, which was the Farewell Tour edition, because everyone had to make money. Yes, the Aleister Black, just like how his entrance is in there, Aleister Black was supposed to be in 2K22, obviously, but then remember the roster cutoff point for 2K22. The roster cutoff point for 2K22 was like July of 2021. Aleister literally got released like I think a week before the wrap up, but the model was already made. So they obviously never put it in there. But they've been sitting on that model since 2K22. They just finally imported it in the game. That's why we try to tell people this game. People talk about like Ukes using the same engine from SmackDown 2000. The fact that you can import a model from 2K22 and touch it up a little bit to put it in 2K25, a game almost 5 years. I mean, 3 to 4 years later, just tells you like they haven't changed anything about the game engine wise. I mean, if it works, it works. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the mere fact that they can just import. I mean, I didn't touch upon it last time, but 2K23, they literally imported Candice LeRae and Mia Yim's model from 2K22 to 2K23 in a patch update, just because they weren't initially in the 2K23 roster, but then when they came back, they literally just imported their models there. So it's like that's all. Every model that you've seen in this game is based off the 2K22 renditions of them. They've either been added, slightly modified. Hence why LA's Knights entrance from 2K22 is still in the game from even in 2K26. So it's like, yeah, that's what we're working with here, people. But yeah, the Farewell Tour edition with John Cena. We'll talk about that actually right now. If you give me 1 second, we'll talk about that right now. All this comes together with the season pass. So the season pass, right? 25 playable characters, and then again the WrestleMania. If you got the Bloodline edition, you also got the WrestleMania arenas and the 2 alternate attires, or they call them, I guess they call alternate attires personas now. I think they're officially anything that's considered alternate attire, they just name persona regardless of if it's in MyFACTION or not. I believe Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso are labeled personas in this game, those WrestleMania attires. But yeah, so first of all, the new wave pack, you have Alex Shelley, Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, Julia and Stephanie, I can never pronounce her last name, Stephanie Vaquer. I used to call her Stephanie Vaquer, but I know that's not it. It's Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to try to say Stephanie Vaquer. We're going to get to El Grande Americano in a little bit, but these were four officially part of this first DLC. All of them makes kind of a bit of sense. However, Julia, they could have put her in the main game. I looked at the timing. Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? Oh yeah, Monday Night Raw is on right now. How did I forget? That's what's happening right now. Right now, Slade. I totally forgot Monday Night Raw was on. But yeah, Julia, she could have 100. I looked at the timing of it. She could have 100% been put in the main game, but they just wanted her as DLC. Just get that extra bit of cash. The timing of it, they could have. She was good for like 2 weeks. Like she was like right before the cutoff point. They could have put her in the game as day one, but they chose not to, or use Nikki Bella. Or use the Nikki Bella way by saying her name. How did she say her name again? I don't know. Did she say Vacker? I originally, because again, remember when I know she worked in AEW fight that one match where she lost against Mercedes, Sasha. I only knew the Stephanie part. I know it's Stephanie Vaquer. Is it Stephanie Vaquer? I think that's how you say it. But yeah, Julia could have 100% been in the base game. We'll get to El Grande Americano in a little bit. But so fun fact, you only got these 4 initially in the initial release. You got him a little bit later, which we'll get into. The Duncan Destruction pack, we have Abyss. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. TNA star Abyss in a WWE game. That's because for those who don't know, I know his name. He works as basically a backstage producer. You probably saw him on Real for the first time. He was briefly in the COVID era of AJ. He was like his statistician or whatever. But yes, he played the character Abyss in TNA, and they decided to finally put him in the game. The relationship between TNA and WWE is good enough to put Abyss in the game. You have, obviously, I know who Shaquille O'Neal is. I have no idea who these two are. I don't watch basketball, so I know they appeared on SmackDown like one time before this game came out, and somehow that justified them putting in the game. Don't know why. So yeah. don't know why. I guess you can argue because it's NBA 2K, but these are literally, talk about the Pac McAfee wasting slots. These two, Shaquille O'Neal at least appeared in WWE before, so that makes perfect sense. I know they appeared one time during SmackDown, but he was a little bit slightly more apart. He was supposed to face Big Show at one point, all that good stuff. So I can understand him. These two, no connection outside their one appearance on SmackDown. Then you got the Great Khali, the GOAT. The Punjabi Playboy himself. The last time he was in the game was literally DLC for 2K15. So it's been a long time coming for the Great Khali. You have the Fearless pack. So obviously the main star of this was Penta, but glad New Jack is here. KSI, I literally don't see the point. It's like putting iShow Speed in there. Did they put iShow Speed in 2K26 DLC? I don't. Hopefully they didn't. The ringside pass. Hopefully not. KSI, he never. It's just so stupid. Jordan Grace. Now the thing about Jordan Grace, this is one of those technicalities. They could have technically put her in the main roster. They could have put her on disc because she was already appearing on NXT, kind of like a Joe Hendry situation. They could have made him on disc instead of a pre-order bonus for 2K26. I know she wasn't legally signed into the company until January, just like Penta. So I understand that part. But the fact that you got Abyss here, you know, a TNA character in there, but you couldn't get Jordan, it just, I'm just saying the fact that she was appearing a year before she officially signed with the company, I feel like they could at least put her on this. Like, come on. And you have Bull Nakoono. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Hopefully I said it right. So that's that pack. Came out in July. Penta. And actually, the good thing about Penta, you can pretty much see how fast they can make a character. So I mean, you can see that 2K26. It's about us. If they really wanted to, it's actually with Ronda Rousey. Really, it's about a 3 to 4 month process of making a character from beginning to end. So that's why they would get Penta in there, despite him debuting in January. The Attitude Era Superstar pack. This is one of those packs where it's like, yes, it's good on paper, but when you think about it for 2 seconds, almost half of them should have been on disc. Allow me to explain. My favorite DLC pack out of all these Attitude Era pack, Love Hang Mark. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Again, don't get me wrong. I objectively like this pack for what it is. But if you think about it for 2 seconds, half of these shouldn't even be DLC. What do I mean? For example, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. Road Dogg was already working with the company. Road Dogg was literally in 2K22. Why is he DLC? It makes no sense. I guess you can argue Billy Gunn because, yes, he is to this day the only person who is still contracted by AEW, a part of the game, but there is zero reason why Road Dogg is in here. He was literally in 2K22. Old man Road Dogg. So it's not like you need a new, like he was on disc in 2K22. Why is he DLC? Mark Henry, I gotta say, obviously he just departed from AEW, but the thing is, Mark Henry was in 2K19 and D'Lo Brown was in 2K16. I guess D'Lo Brown was long enough where, okay, they needed something new, but Mark Henry was literally in 2K19 last time I checked. Or maybe in 2K20 even. But I swear to God, he was in, actually, you know why? I'll just double check right now. I'm like 1,000% sure he was in 19, but he probably was in 20. Son of a bitch, he was in 20. So it's like, and this is the thing, no, what kills me, because if you want to argue, so here's the argument. People are arguing they need a new character model. There's no new character model for Mark Henry. They've been using the same character model. They're just using his Hall of Pain. That funny. So the irony is they're not even using Attitude Era Mark Henry. They're using again, the more you think about it, the more stupid it is. They're not even using the Attitude Era version of Mark Henry. They're using the Hall of Pain Mark Henry, but they just put in the Attitude Era pack. I know semantics, but the point is Road Dogg should have been in the game already. Why am I paying for someone who's in 2K22? If you want to argue Billy Gunn, AEW, sure. D'Lo Brown, I feel like here's my biggest gripe with DLC. I know, a little tangent. I shouldn't have to keep repaying for people that was already part of your series. Now, what do I mean by that? From 14 backwards, if they were basically in 15 to now, I should not be paying for them as DLC. If they were in 14 backwards, then sure. And there are a few examples of that. Like D'Lo Brown was in 2K16. Y'all used him before. It's not like his status changed with the company by any means. He wasn't even a part of the company. He wasn't even part of the company when he was in 2K16, but y'all were able to sign him. So it's like, and he wasn't even DLC. He was part of the goddamn game. Now Victoria is a perfect example of, well, yeah, she wasn't in like 2K14 onwards, so it makes perfect sense for her. But most of these people could have been on disc if they really wanted to, especially Road Dogg. No excuse. The guy was literally in 2K22. But now you have Saturday Night Main Event. Once again, perfect example. First of all, Tito. So he's brand new. Mark Henry was pregnant in this game. Yes, they did make him fat. That's what. Oh yeah, they did. I do him justice. They did make him a tad bit fat. So this is the first time he's in any WWE game. So that's perfectly fine. Junkyard Dog. He hasn't been in the game since SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. So there's that. And Jesse has never been in a main WWE game or any WWE game license in general, because this was during the time period prior to this. There was always a feud between him and Vince, so he was never part of these games. So all of these make sense. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. It's great that he's DLC. That's not the issue. The mere fact that he is DLC the year after 2K24 is what irritates me, because that means they could have 100%. They could have 100% done WrestleMania 1 match with Hogan and T versus Piper and Orndorff. Now you're gonna say, what about the Mr. T license? He was in 2K22. They could have held off 2K24. It's just, this is like, they could have 100% put the WrestleMania 1 arena. And then we get to Sid. Sid was literally in 2K19. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, but he doesn't look that much different from 2K19. I know he died recently. I'm not outside the fact that he passed away, but that's not the reason why he was in this game. The point is, he was literally in 2K19. It's not like his status changed with the company. He just became a Hall of Famer this year. So that's what I'm trying to like. It's not like his status even changed. So that's the worst part about it for me. It's like him. So basically, out of all this pack, 1, 2, 3. I guess you could argue 4. Fine, but him, there's basically no excuse why he wasn't already on this. It's like DDP all over again. You had to keep repaying for the same models over and over again. I feel Brock Lesnar is the worst example, paying for people we had for free last year, and especially when you physically played as him and you saw him in My Rise. He's suddenly DLC. Yes, the argument, there's some complication, but he should have been. The argument is like Aleister Black or even a Mia Yim or Candice LeRae. I guess Aleister Black you technically had to pay for. They should have just patched him in the game. Brock Lesnar, I can assure you. I know probably people didn't look deep enough. I can assure you there was some type of file that Brock Lesnar was still in the game. Because again, it's not like he was fired. He was never fired from the company. They just took him off of TV. I can 100% assure you there was some type of data of Brock Lesnar still being in the game. But and now you had to pay for him. And speaking of that, we're right on cue. The farewell tour. So John Cena 03. I guess he's considered new, even though I believe I'm like 90% sure most of his model outside of his jacket is based off of his Backlash model, 2003 model from 2K23 that is making you repay for it. So there's that. I mean, John Cena 41, obviously that's new. R-Truth, Ron Cena. It's just R-Truth. And I mean, again, that's whatever it's an entire, that's fine. But I swear to God, this is literally just the 2K23 03 version of John Cena with just a different outfit. And then, as you said, Brock Lesnar. And they couldn't even give us the common courtesy of giving him his wrestling attire properly. They gave him literally his return outfit, which is fine. And people obviously just replaced, but just the extra step, the extra step, like, come on. Or the demon version of Finn was in My Rise and the female version 2K24, but that's different. So you are absolutely right on that. You are absolutely right on that, Slade. DLC Cena was in 24 for the Bray Wyatt match in 36, though they used his modern model. He was also in 2K. So yeah, okay. Dr. Thug. Okay, so yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I knew I wasn't crazy. I didn't mention the 2K24 one because I knew that he was using his modern look. I'm saying in terms of the actual physical model, I swear to God this was in 2K23. Actually, you know what? Let me click on it. I swear. We're going to look. Does anyone have an image? Okay. I know outside of the outfit, I need 23. Hold on, we're going to look at 23 model. Cena 03. I swear to God, they're exactly the same. It's just a different. I need to see the hair. How's the hair looking? I need to see that side hair. If it's the same hair, I'm gonna lose my mind. I mean, outside the fact that it's the same entrance motion, we're not even getting the fact that it's the same goddamn entrance motion for 23. It makes even more credence to the fact that it probably is. But okay, and this is what pisses me off. So just side note, the island. We're gonna get into the story of the island. Goldberg and Nikki Bella. Because I'm a PC player, I don't have access to these superstars. So I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to even give 2K my money to access these superstars, since they consider PC players last gen, which we'll get into the reasons why in a little bit. I couldn't even get Goldberg and Nikki Bella. Keep in mind, Goldberg, correct me if I'm wrong, was Goldberg not in 2K20? He was in 2K23. They took him out of 2K24. They put him back in 2K25. Nikki Bella was in 2K23. They took out 2K24 and they put her back in 2K25. Why are we paying for people? Why are we paying for people who are already in the game 2 games ago just to repay them back in? Like, what kind of bullshit is this? And then the pre-order bonus was Wyatt 6 or 5. I mean, Wyatt 6, but 5 people. Keep in mind, Uncle Howdy is already in the game, so you're pre-ordering just another variation of Uncle Howdy. And all of these people outside of Eric Rowan were already in the game, just with masks and so on. Even though they're already in the base game, pre-order just means you have to unlock them. They put a paid lock on your game. You have to pay money just to unlock them out at $15, by the way, just to unlock them, just to play as the people that are already on disc of your game. Then you had the Deadman Edition pack, which I mean, anything really to Undertaker, I'm all for. Brother Love, Undertaker Elite, I can do without, makes no sense. But Undertaker 90, you know how rare it is to see Undertaker 90, even though they kind of gimped out on his attire. It is what it is. I mean, his model, then he had the Bloodline Edition, which is the version I got, obviously. Elite Jey Uso, Elite Roman Reigns. Okay, side note. does anyone actually play as these Elite figures? I know there's probably some collaboration with Mattel and whatever, but it's like, does anyone actually like legitimately play as these Elite figures? And like I said, Rock 97 for Nation of Domination. And then WrestleMania 41, like I said, Aleister Black. The WrestleMania 41 Night 1 and Night 2 arenas, because there are different colors. Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania 41, and Jey Uso, WrestleMania 41. I thought it originally said the main event of WrestleMania for each night. So that technically should, the winners. So that technically should have been Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, but they didn't do that. Probably because they knew they were going to do CM Punk next year. I don't know. They should have found a way to make Goldberg Bell accessible for last year, and also the Wyatt 6 being pre-order bonus. Then we realized they were released. I know. So this 2K20, I mean 2K. I'm looking at the roster 2K25. A lot of people were gone because they released them like I think 2 months before the game came out. So they were just lucky. But yeah, a lot of people left. And then 2K26 I already know is the last game for Tommaso, Alistair, the Wyatts. We're losing them. We're losing them all. So there's that. So let's get on to our little story. For us to understand how we got to this point with why PC is last gen, we're going to have to go all the way back to the year 2002. What do I mean by that? Well, a little game called WWF Raw, which released in 2002, which is then they got rebranded to WWE Raw, which is the start of Raw series. And I probably say, what the hell does this have to do with anything? The only thing this has to do with the fact that this game released on Xbox, but this was also the first WWE officially licensed game to be released on PC. And as you know, with PC comes with mods. Yes, people were able to mod the games and whatnot, starting with this game. I mean, you could do it with any other game, but like the easier access of modding games for PC started with WWF Raw. And it wasn't until 2K15 where they finally started re-releasing games on PC, starting with 2K15 under 2K. Now, I must stress, and as I'm about to show you guys in a quick second, I know, and this is why I hate it about the community, not you, Wrestling IG. I know you're a part of it, but not you. It was also the last game to have Supercharger, as it was taken out next year for, you know, yes, Battle Pass. I guess we don't want to talk about that because we're not talking about 2K 26, but yes, you're right. This is a lot of last for a lot of things. So part of the reason why I hate the community, I know that sounds, hate is such a strong word, isn't it? Yeah, but I do hate this community, is that they overinflate stuff. Is like, what's the word I'm looking for? They over sensationalize stuff that's not really real to reality. So what I mean, so yes, these games released on PC, and this is coming from a PC player. As a PC player, we are not the majority of people. These games sell like 3 to 4 million copies a year. You want to know how many these games sell on PC? Well, allow me to show you real quick. Per Steam charts, well, outside the fact that it peaked at 2,360 people playing at one time 11.1 years ago, the around estimate of the actual PC sales numbers are anywhere between 100,000 to basically 400,000. I must stress, these games sell upward to 3 to 4 million copies a year across all consoles. This is our share of the PC side. And just to show you, once again, for what is it, 2K25? For 2K25, again, the roundabout estimate is anywhere between 200 to 800,000. Again, it's not that it's bad. It's just we are such a low share of the people who are on Xbox and PlayStation. That's why I hate when these content creators, it's just bad faith argument where they say 2K26 is dying, and then the first thing they're like, well, how do you know that? They use the goddamn Steam numbers. We are such a minute, not even barely a percentage of the actual total sales of the install base that people play these games on. Like, I'm literally in the minority. I'm playing the least supported versions of these games. I just do it because I have a PC. But my point is, we are not, you can't use these numbers to dictate if the game is dying or not. But that's what they're using the excuse for 2K26. Now, by no means am I like a 2K26 defender. Like I said, I haven't played in like for almost 2 months now since I've been prepping on this stream. But my point is to say that the game is dying, which is clearly, I just don't like false narratives being thrown around, especially by literally people who get paid to be flown out. Let me rephrase that word, to get flown out to be basically the spokespeople in our community, play these games and then sit back and lie, say, oh, the game is dying because of all times, whatever record. It's just like, they're so full of shit. I don't even know why 2K invites these. Why is maybe I don't understand business, but if I was 2K, I would stop inviting people who literally shit on my game every single year publicly for like 8 months and for 8 months straight. But then once the fall season hits, now they take a step back and now they use their words wisely just to get in their good grace and hopefully be falling out the next year. I don't know. Maybe 2K doesn't pay attention to what goes on during the rest of the year. But I just, if I was them, I would stop inviting those people just because they literally are fence sitting for the community. They're playing both sides of the fence just to get their free invite and free weeks worth of footage before anyone else. But I bring all this up because essentially the point is modding now. Whether or not modding is okay, it all depends on developers. Obviously, you have people like Skyrim developers. I'm drawing a blank. But the point is, you have other companies that don't care about modding. 2K, it's not that they don't care, but let me rephrase. Up until 2K from 15 to 20, it's not that they didn't care. It's just that we are the PC side of the 2K series is such a minor, inconsequential part of their sales revenue. Their sale priority is literally the Xbox and PlayStation. So we are just such a minute, inconsequential thing. It's not that they don't care about what we do, but it's such a minor thing that modding, they really did not care between 2K15 and 2K20. Now that all changed with WWE 2K22, because this was the first game that had cross-platform community creations, meaning any created superstar, entrance, moveset, whatever, can be uploaded and downloaded through everything, which involved us PC players. And you know what? It got introduced with 2K22, MyFACTION, and exclusive models that were technically behind a paywall, if you want to be technical about it. We had people like What's the Status, and I mean, not just him, but obviously the name person attached to it, most recognized name, uploading models. From 2K22 to 2K24, uploading models of stuff behind MyFACTION. Those you don't know, if you have a PC, thanks to modding, whatever, you can just, the whole MyFACTION thing is like irrelevant. You could just, once basically the files and stuff are loaded into the game, you could just bypass MyFACTION, mod the game, and just play with those models without ever paying a cent to MyFACTIOn. That's kind of the point. So it's like, it's basically, I know for someone who is on PC and I complain about MyFACTION the island, I don't really have to, I don't have to worry about it. I could literally just mod my game, get all the stuff, but I shouldn't have to take the extra step to do that. I'm not saying, it's not that I'm lazy. It's just that I shouldn't have to take the step to potentially do something illegal just to play with these models. That's why I'm complaining about it. It has to be a better way of doing it. But the point is, basically, if you're on PC, MyFACTION and soon to be the island is completely irrelevant to, which is, and again, 2K knows that, which is why they went upset for those from 2K22, 24, when people like, What's Status, as you also said, Marty M with the crazy modded arenas. Yeah, I used a lot of his arenas from 2K23 as well. Yeah, you're absolutely, and 2K24. I remember him. Is he on 2K26? I don't know. I haven't played it in a little bit. But yeah, those people that are modding the stuff and having other people from council, that's what, basically, if they just stuck it to PC, I don't think 2K would care what we did on that side. But because we're giving them technically currency paywalled models and giving to them for free, that's where 2K drew the line. And knowing that for 2K25 they're going to introduce a mode called the Island, which is essentially the perfect hub of getting as much money as these players as possible from PlayStation, Xbox, they had to figure out a way for the PC players to not screw them over this time around. The Island was going to be their moneymaker. So here's what they decided to do. We're going full circle here. Despite the fact that the PC versions are essentially graphically wise and running wise, as I'm running it right here, equivalent to the Xbox 360 and PS5, they classified them as last gen to the Xbox One and PS4. So, to make a long story short, because we are considered last gen, they split the community creation. So Xbox Series X and PS5 can download and share content, while Steam, Xbox One, and PS4 can only share content. It's even worse with 2K26, even though we're not going to be talking about it, where PC is just completely cut off. It's only Xbox Series X and S PS5 and the Switch 2. Yes, the Switch 2 released with 2K25 a little bit later, but I'm not going to mention really the Switch 2 version for 2K25 because it came after the fact, because most of the story is related to the current one. The Switch 2 version came out after the fact. Did you like Nintendo? I never played Nintendo Switch. I don't have a Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe I might get it, especially now with the price increase. I might get it for my mom so she could play Animal Cross, and then in essence, I guess I could play 2K on there. It's confusing when you see that the PC version is on par with the next gen versions. I saw a comment saying it was on par with next gen. Well, per the developer, I wish I had the quote. He literally said, and I quote, the paraphrase, we separated. Originally he did say because it was weaker hardware or wasn't our par, but really what he said, if you look between the lines, what he actually said was, we wanted to make sure the experience on console wouldn't be hindered with PC because they know we just bypass the MyFACTION microtransaction bullshit and hinder their experience, i.e. they didn't want people getting the stuff from the island for free if you just upload it to community creations and bypassing that whole system. That's essentially what they wanted to say, and that's exactly what they got. So that's the story with the island. So the main selling point being the island for 2K25, because it in fact was for the Xbox 360 PS5, I can't actually show you the island, which, I mean, good for me because I could care less about that mode anyway. But that was basically the main selling point of 2K25, which was the island, the hub of whatever that is. But I'm going to show you a video of it so you have an idea what it is. But before we even get to that, one of the biggest complaints that I've been holding off on, to this day is still happening, is 2K's marketing of this series itself. It basically started at 2K22, but it basically solidified with 2K23 the way their marketing is. Let me show you something. Here was the embargo days, where the 2K influencers or next makers, whatever you want to call them, get flown out, they get the footage, and they have embargo dates, right? This was when the first time we actually seen authentic stuff of general gameplay, new match types, universe mode in my gym was March 3rd, creation suites in the island, March 4th, My Rise, and MyFACTION March 5th, and March 6th was Showcase. So that's all that good. 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Do you know what day 2K25 released? March 7th. This is what I mean with the marketing of these games nowadays. They don't show off anything until the last minute nowadays. And this was just 2K25. I completely forgot how 2K26 was embargo dates since we're not talking about it. But yeah. Oh, what's up, Alex? Thanks for stopping by. Yep, we're on the finale here, 2K25. So yeah, this is the marketing for just 2K games in general. They will wait until the last minute to showcase anything. I think the most we ever got of footage wise was just a brief thing about the island, which I'm about to show you right now, actually. But other than that, nope. That was it. Like I said, because I don't have next gen PS5 or Xbox Series X, I can't show you the island in game. Well, I can't show you just brief footage of it, which we're gonna look at right here. Where is the full screen? Can I do full screen? Really? More options? I don't want to go to. Fine, I guess we are going to 2K, aren't we? But we're not gonna get copyrighted. I'm gonna have to skip him talking just in case. Just to show you the island again. It's a story-based thing, but it's microtransaction. This is how you know the game sucks. Yes, this was the main. I must stress, this was the main selling point of 2K25. Was the island itself. They betted all their cards on this mode. I never played the 2K25 version of the island because I couldn't. Even if I wasn't going to anyway. I mean, spoiler. I really wasn't. I might have looked at it for like the first 5 minutes, but this was the main selling point because it's not on PC. And because of this mode, I can't play as Goldberg and Nikki Bella. Solely because I don't have a PS5 or Xbox Series X and X. This is what it is. Just some online hub. I mean, again, I don't know the experience of the island. I played it for like 5 minutes on 2K26. I just don't get it. I know this is basically their response to NBA's My City, but this is what I mean. What sense does this make in the context of wrestling? You can argue NBA My City is grounded in whatever. None of this makes sense in terms of wrestling. What does this have to do with wrestling? You know, it would have been slightly more better if they made it like actually based off of wrestling, like behind the scenes, like Gorilla, all that good stuff, wrestling in the indies, whatever. None of this makes sense in terms of wrestling. I don't know if this is like this in the NBA series, because I don't play NBA, but I can assure you it's probably not to this extreme, some random crap that has nothing to do with anything. I know they try to base it off the, again, Roman Reigns bloodline, all that good stuff, but it's like, what? This has nothing to do with wrestling. They just made it up for money, and this didn't even make sense at this point because Roman was even. I know, but they obviously no, but it was going to show you they were making this since 2K24. They were making it since 2K24. But I guess what I can just briefly show you again, the districts, the Arcade of Tomorrow, all this good stuff. I guess again, VC, all and basically the main thing is the licensed stuff that you can actually wear. So like Nike, Puma, all this stuff that you can actually put on your superstar. Who invested in this? And yes, the cutscenes were based off of 2K20, so that's nice. Yada yada, blah 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 blah. Yeah, will you bring up the Bloodline showcase at some point? Yes, we are about to get into that because since nice segue there. Since the PC version, I did not have the island. We basically had a different selling point, which was I actually appreciated, which was the actual gameplay itself. Because despite all those complaints that I talked about, I know it seemed like, oh, this is basically saying I hate the game. No, in actuality, this game is actually great gameplay wise. We're about to showcase right here. The biggest thing is that for the first time since SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, we have intergender wrestling. Which I think the best example of the show is all these locks superstars I'm never gonna use is Rhea Ripley and Dominic. It's not just that, there's so much stuff. Again, that's what I said. I know it seemed like I was shitting on 2K, but now I'm about to actually praise them for majority of this. If this is, I essentially just showed you the part where it's like they are hell bent on microtransactions, they won't stop. But we're gonna show the good side of 2K. Because for the first time, I would argue this is, if you play 2K22, this is actually worth the upgrade now. 2K23 and 24 was not worth it. 2K25, 100% worth it, which will, because they finally focused on the gameplay again. Not just intergender wrestling. They're gonna go through a bunch of stuff. Even right here with start the entrances. First of all, I'm so glad they kept WrestleMania 31. As I said, WrestleMania 31 is one of my favorite designs of all time. I just love the outdoor like night. It was bright as hell, and then became dark. Like the aesthetics of it, they really got it. Yes, for the first time, you can now control the camera for your entrances in the main WWE series. Zoom in, zoom out. Go back to the regular camera, do a spectated camera, a long zoom in, keep switching between shots. It's like, it's so good. Now every entrance is going to feel different. The entrances are worth watching more than once nowadays. I wish they kept the majority of WrestleMania arenas from 24 and 25. I know 3 and 17 are locked exclusive. You're bullshitting me. Say psych. Say psych. Wait, for this game or 2K26? They locked 17 behind the island? Is it in? You are bullshitting me. Is it this game or 2K26? I didn't even notice that. I'm just glad it kept 31. I don't know if 31's in 2K26. I forgot to check. But 31 is one of my favorite arenas of all time. You are bullshitting me. They did not lock arenas from in the island. It's one of the island storylines where you go back in time, beat Rick. So it's in this So wait a minute, in 2K25 or 26. I just want to verify. So I want to have my right. 2K25. So let me 2K. So let me get this straight. I got deprived of WrestleMania 3 and 17. I don't even have a chance to unlock it because they decided to put it behind an island, a mode that PC players don't even get unlocked. Freaking incredible. You can't make this shit up. So yes, like I said, graphically, everything looks, now I'm about to praise the gameplay because guess what? They finally brought something back, which they made themselves, which they took out for some reason. They made it themselves. All right, Dom, let's try it again. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Chain wrestling is back in the 2K series. The first time since 2K20, they finally brought it back. This is all we wanted, to have the match start out this way. It finally got brought back properly. They also have an NXT 2017 NXT Arena, 2019 Arena as well locked. Crazy to think this kid we saw on TV with Eddie is a wrestler now. And not only a wrestler, one of the most over people in the company in such a short amount of time. With the least amount of experience. Like Dominic is like have it all. In a short amount of time, this is way too loud. My bad. I am yelling because the audio was way too loud. In such a short amount of time with the least amount of experience, Dominic is literally one of the biggest heels in the company. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just like it's just a short amount of time with the least amount of experience. This guy somehow made it. I know people hated him initially. They thought like he sucked, but basically his heel run changed the trajectory of his career that we probably would have never even thought was possible. All because he turned heel, as you were saying about Dominic. Yeah. Like I said with Dominic, him turning heel was the greatest thing that ever happened to him. I know people hate him as a face. I don't really know why. He was just, again, raised him, father and son teaming up. You don't see that quite often in wrestling. But it's like, they hated his guts as a face. It basically was doing nothing. As I know I really didn't point it out, but you see intergender wrestling, Rhea Ripley and Dominic. This is probably the reason why I think they banned What's the Status, because they took their idea for next year that they were going to implement back. Since What's the Status the previous year had Rhea Ripley models like work for men wrestlers. I think that's why they initially banned him. Upon other stuff, they were just probably getting tired of his ass. Yes, this is all we wanted. And it's more, everything is like so fluid. I think, again, in terms of the actual gameplay, there's more stuff that they added, which I'm going to try to showcase in terms of actual gameplay. Like, that was cool. You know, you can basically have like the first couple minutes is just literally all chain wrestling. Literally changes the pacing of the match itself. Like, literally, the first couple minutes could just be all chain wrestling. Now we're just going to end it with an attack, hopefully. But no, he got to me first. Everything just flows so much better now. And like I don't know what it is. While they still have fighting stances, it's not visible anymore. It's like the naked eye. Like there's still fighting stance here. Don't get me wrong. But essentially, it's basically non-existent if you're really not paying attention to it. I can still do it without the collar and elbow tie-up, but the whole fighting stance thing is like pretty much gone. I think 2K26, I believe as well, it's almost gone to the point where it's not even noticeable. Damn, he blocked. At least. And yes, trading blows, even though I didn't really get into them in the last game. It got presented in the last. I mean, they debuted in the last game. I don't think I did any. By the way, there's 2 new match types, which we will look at one of them right after this. Perfect super kick. And then the Riptide. With Rhea Ripley being victorious. Now we're going to show you one of the new match types. Which, fun fact, I've never played it until this stream, so this is going to be the first time I'm actually playing it. The Bloodline Rules. Yes, the Bloodline Rules. The match that pretty much was at WrestleMania. It's in this game as well as the Underground match. If I have time, I will look at the Underground match a little later in the end if we actually have time. But per my current slate of doing stuff, we might as well have it at WrestleMania since it happened. We're gonna have it at WrestleMania nighttime. We're gonna be, I guess, why not do real life? The craziness is just the difference is we're gonna have Roman win this time around. It was, where are you, Roman? We're gonna have Roman Can we pick the people? How do I pick the people? But again, I've never done this match before. Is it literally just random people? You're not allowed to pick them? Really? I thought you could pick them. Special. You can't. This feature was added. Oh, so it's literally random people. Oh, that's honestly, I'm not mad at it because now it's gonna be completely random then. Okay, I'm actually not mad at that. I just assumed you could pick them, huh? And this version is based off your allies and enemies. Gotcha. But what if you don't have enough? Then it's random. That's okay. That's very interesting. Okay. Okay, cool. I legit did not know that. Thank you, Wrestling IG, for telling me. Yes, the bloodline rules. But actually telling me this payback can be used up to 3 times. So I hold down, hold. All right, damn, so much stuff to deactivate. Jesus. Did you go over the DLC? Yes, I actually went over it right at the beginning. Then I went on my whole rant of the PC side of the island. But I did go over it. But I neglected to talk about El Grande Americano, which we were going to talk about a little bit later. I think right after this, we're going to look at the showcase. And then we're actually going to look at improvements to Universe Mode for the first time since like 2K19. Yes, Universe Mode they actually touched the mode for once in their lives since 2K19. And this game's on mobile. You have Netflix subscription or something. I believe that was, yeah, 2K25 or 26. No, 25, you're right. And I think it looks weird. You know what I find weird? The vanilla version of this game had Triple H 14, which is renders from 24, but they removed it. Why did they remove it? Why did they remove it? That is weird. I cannot see with my, hopefully they do at a different angle next time around. Okay. Gotta hit down. I think that's how you call them. That's the payback, right? Let me see. Moves. Yes, the bloodline run in. Okay. It's funny how they stop updating their games after a few months. You're talking about terms of patches. Like I said, they sometimes surprise me. I did not expect them to patch in Saturday night's main event. I thought they were going to purposely leave it out. But again, sometimes they surprise me. I got to give 2K credit. That was something that was we got to do a rematch. I can't see. No, we're doing a rematch. We're not going to do it like that. Wow, so those are just 4 people. So that's nice. Wait, why is Solo on that side? Wait. Why is Solo on that side? Hold up. Rematch. Rematch. Why is Solo on that side? That's weird. When does Solo like Cody? It kind of, so I wonder if it refreshes now. I wonder if it's a different lineup. Why is the pin meter over there? I wonder if I switch angles, will it, actually, speaking of angles, there's a third person, which I have no idea how to use. I'd like to elaborate how the price makes sense for this one as per your title, Oh, so it's more of a double meaning. It's more of a double meaning. If you would have came in the beginning, actually, I explained it, how this is essentially, for all intents and purposes, probably the best wrestling game we got in years in terms of the perfect balance of simulation and arcade, but then also at the same time, 2K's continuous just reliance on trying to put microtransactions in this game. Basically, what I'm trying to say is we can have the perfect wrestling game at a price. We're gonna have to pay for it, both literally and figuratively. That's what I was trying to go with the title. I was trying to be clever about it. Absolutely, Battle Pass makes me not. Yeah, well said. That's essentially what I was trying to. Hopefully, you wouldn't. Yeah, the title doesn't make sense. It's one of those things where you literally have to click on the stream and watch the first minute or two to understand what I'm saying. Okay, so now I see the third person angle, which is cool too. And you see, like I said, stuff like this. This is what I mean with 2K25. It is, I will say, despite how much I've shitted on 2K for like the past week, if you've seen my stream, well, first of all, thank you, Thaddeus Godley, for stopping by. Is this your first? I'm not gonna lie, is this your first time stopping by? I feel like I've seen your name before. No, this is actually your first time stopping by, I think. Well, thank you. Yeah, so this is actually you made it to the last day of my event. This was a 25-day event where we went through every single wrestling game. Okay, how do I pick up people now? Since I'm using this stick. How do you pick up people? You got to sub articulate and charismatic as fuck. I don't consider those last two. I don't consider myself, but I appreciate it. But yeah, this was a 25-day event of how we got to 2K26. We're not playing 2K26 in case you're wondering, but we went through all the other ones. There's an entire playlist if you're interested. We went through every main WWE game in the past 25 years to see how we got to 2K26. They're like around 2 hours each. I've been streaming every day for the past 25 days, and now at least you made it to the finale, so at least it's still being shown to new people on YouTube. I do appreciate that much. I do agree 25 in the best gameplay. Only redeeming fact 26 was the ragdoll fix. I know, if they didn't add the ragdoll, there would have been basically no point of playing 2K26, and those pre-action stuff. Like I said, we are in the we are essentially at the point where this games cannot get any better except for adding in the remaining match types. Because let's think about it for a second. The remaining match types are what? Championship Scramble, which you don't have, and the Iron Survivor. Once you add those two, we pretty much have the perfect wrestling game. There's nothing more that they can add in terms of matches that they took out or brought back in. Like, we have them all at this point. We even got 3 stages of hell back. That's what I'm saying. It's like the gameplay is here now. I wish I would have known you 25 days ago. I'm gonna check them out as soon as possible. Are you doing a retrospective? Yes, essentially. I appreciate you pointing that out. It makes so I guess they came off that way. These were essentially live documentary / retrospective events for all the games. So you're gonna look. Actually, I could just link you to playlist. I know, shameless plug. But I'll just link you to playlist. But yes, this is essentially these were live document. I haven't live streamed in like 2 years. So prior to this, I haven't live streamed in 2 years. Because I told myself, I don't want to. Anyone could just live stream and play a game and just live stream. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have a reason for these live streams to exist outside of just cutting on OBS and playing the stream. So I decided we're gonna do a live documentary. So these streams actually have a purpose of existing, and you can watch them over and over. They don't exist outside of its first week, and then they don't mean anything. Okay, this third person camera I am not gonna get used to. And I'm not trying to lose. So did you ever talk about the did we talk about the farewell tour? Yes. Again, I think you missed the yes, the brand new submission system. Well, not technically brand new. They modified it from like 2K16, but they made it better with the triggers instead of the right stick. Let me call in my people. Come on, Rock, kick his ass. Like, see, stuff like this, again, presentation wise, they nailed it. This thing is about to get crazy. Rock, kick his ass. Kick his ass, Rock. Thank you. And now I can just taunt. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you, Rock. And he has his finisher too. Kick his ass. It might be just a vibe thing for me, but I feel like you could get a green screen and do a 35-minute full series retrospective. I think it'll do. In terms of long form, so if you actually look, so I guess you're new to my channel in general. If you look at my last long form video, I didn't do exactly what you said, but what I'm trying to do for my long form videos is try to do more of a, basically, if my channel, what I'm trying to do for in terms of WWE games is, what would these video games be like if they were presented on like Apple TV or Netflix? That's the vibe I've been trying to go for my videos. So if you look at my last long form video, which is, I believe, the Superstar Hit in Every Game, I think you're gonna like that experience. Not right now. Watch I would rather you watch live stream, but since you're new to the channel, I think you're gonna like the experience here. That's the vibe I've been trying to go for in my channel. So why is Solo literally on Cody Rhodes' team? Well, the vibe you give me is that I should give a shit about what you're saying. I'm here for it. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted, and I appreciate it. Because I think my issue with, it's not your issue with the current community. I feel like people go past these. I feel like most of the community, not everyone, like Wrestling IG is not part of what I'm about to say. this is not me hating on the rest of the creators in the community. I know how hard it is to make a video, but I think my biggest issue is that they go past they use these games literally just for money and content. I know that's technically what I'm doing here. Not really if you look at my view count, but what I'm trying to say is there's no substance anymore. They go with the flow. They was like, okay, and then we're in a point at every video is literally a recycle of something they did a year ago or even a month ago. Insert, I hit every finisher with this superstar, replace him with this superstar next week, and I played every game. I played every Elimination Chamber in every WWE game, stuff like that. It's like, who is this catered towards? It's not. I mean, everyone to each their own, right? Like to each their own. But I'm like 29-year-old. I can assure you that is not catered to the audience that you think it is, which is not me. So I'm just trying to bring something different to the community, and I got him. I love how Cody was just there for the pickings. I just took him. Again, depending on your allies' enemies, because Solo's Roman's enemy. He comes. Oh yeah, you're right. At this point, he would be. So you're absolutely right. Okay, that makes sense then. That's what I was about to say. Why is Solo on Cody's side? Makes no goddamn sense. So yeah. Now let me ask you in Wrestling IG. Is this entrance animation only for Roman or is for anyone who wins? If it is, that sucks. I wish they would change it then. Because obviously this is meant just for Roman or any of the blonde, anyone who's outside of the bloodline. I gotta stop doing that. Anyone outside of the bloodline has the same exact victory motion or something different. Anyone in the bloodline, at least from what I've seen. So a regular person might not have it. Okay, I'll probably look into it later. Gotcha. Did you go through did you go to create wrestling on each of them? If so, opinion. So we briefly touched on ones that made significant improvements. So like, for example, on SmackDown 2, we touched it because that was the first one that basically had a extensive create a wrestler. Then we went through Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth. And you know what's crazy about Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth? Not a lot of people I think even realize it started in that game. Those are games that had literally animations. You can create your own animations, your own taunts, to exactly how you want them. Like this was before create a finisher. Literally create your own animations. How your superstar walks, how he like in the standby position, all that stuff was literally back on a PS2 game. Yet for some reason they can't put it in the current game for reasons I have no idea outside of they just don't care. Because as I said with 2K, even though I praised them for their gameplay, Brian Williams is essentially the only reason why I think the gameplay is the way it is right now, since he worked on the THQ series under THQ. So, but with that said, everyone else, they have no idea what a wrestling game is. It is absolutely a disgrace in 2K22. Everyone have a fighting style like your Street Fighter. That should have never even been the game to begin with. And why are we still doing collar and elbow tie-ups just for me to hit a DDT? Little stuff like that, I know in the grand scheme of things is not bad, but it's like we're in 2026. Why is that 2K19, a game that came out in 2018? There was none of those things, and the matches just flowed like that. An actual wrestling simulator. This is not a wrestling simulator. Like I said, 2K makes games that has wrestler in it, but they have no idea what a wrestling game actually is. So that's why I'm annoyed. I think the call suite all the way to Korean were the same in my opinion. Don't know if I'm wrong with that. All the way until 26. In terms of 22 to 26, there's basically no difference between the creation suite outside of create a referee, which is just you putting on a referee attire. Outside of that, you're absolutely right, Wrestling IG. From 22 to 26, they're outside of create a referee, which is essentially just you putting on a referee suit. There is no difference in the creation suite. They have not added anything. That was basically the most rejected mode besides universe mode. But yes, the showcase, unlike the previous one, this is specifically focused on the Bloodline family, Roman Reigns' family, the Anowani family, however you want to pronounce it. So basically a match for representing each one of them: Yokozuna, the Head Shrinkers, Rocky Maivia, Haishi Pierre Maivia, Nia Jax, Rikishi, Umaga, 3-minute warning, Tamina, which is, I think is this the last time Tamina's in the game? I don't know. My call and Here Comes the Pain stands in drunken fists and walking in. But that's what you see, the fact that you were able to do that in 2003. Fatty is Godly, which is an incredible name, by the way. That's what I mean. It's like, why is it that you can do that stuff in that game, you can't do it in this game? On the PS2, where we were on millibytes. we're on gigabytes of gaming right now. But they could do that on millibytes of data. It's absolutely insane. Keep in mind, there's also replay value in Here Comes the Pain, unlike some other ones here. Now, 2K25 actually has some replay value. I will give them that, especially how they did universe mode. But 23 and 24, there's 0 replay value to them. With 26, there's 200 cost slots, more images as well, body morphing. But essentially, my point is there's no added creation, as in there's no create a story or create a finisher. I don't know if that's what you, but yeah, 200 slots is a help. I guess doubling is always a good thing. I don't know why it took them so long. I guess their argument was last gen, which I highly doubt because all the models look exactly the same. But damn, this is Tamina's last game. If you play Here Comes the Pain high enough, it's infinite. That's my point, and I went through it. Every experience is different. How is it that a PS2 game, everyone's experience is different, and Here Comes the Pain season mode on the PS2? How you start off week 1 is probably completely different how I started off. Like my first rivalry, I was Brock Lesnar. Kurt Angle was going to come out, but then Roddy Piper attacking from behind, all this crazy shit. I can assure you that is not no one else's experience on their version of it. And that's why I'm saying we will never get back to those days. Usos, Naomi, the Wild Samoans, Solo, Roman, and then the Silver War Games bloodline, because for some reason we still can't have a 5v5 war games because they can't put 10 superstars in the ring, even though there's more than 10 models, functional models, in 8-man matches. The Islanders, and then the tribal gauntlet. So for the sake of this, we're going to use what is the best example? I guess we'll use Romans as the best example to showcase. I might have to switch screens because I won't be able to skip the video. Sucks though that this game will have its servers down next year, making every WWE game last year having no more online support. And this is what I mean with these games. Again, I must stress this, guys. I don't know about 2K14, from 13 backwards, you can still play online. You can still play SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 online. You just have to have someone else playing it, because back then those servers was peer-to-peer, meaning they're connecting to your servers. I wish we would go back to that, where once they shut down, it should be peer-to-peer servers. That's why they still exist despite THQ being dead somewhere in a grave 6 feet under. I know there's THQ North, but my point is the original THQ, they're like long gone. They are from a bygone era, and they're gone. But yet somehow the servers, you can still play it. That's what I'm trying to say. Unfortunately, yeah, I switched screens because the video is playing, unfortunately. You just got to give me a moment, guys. I'm just waiting so I can actually skip it. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna show the showcase. So one of the cool, again, I give credit where credit's due. This is one of the games, and it started with this one where they actually changed, because they basically wanted every bloodline member to win their respected match, regardless if they actually lost in real life. You get an alternate cutscene, essentially, for how it actually happened in real life between Roman and Seth at the Royal Rumble. So yeah, I miss Call Road WrestleMania with DSS antics. I probably one person another. So I think the one you're referring to is SmackDown versus Raw 2010. Again, 2010 will create your own world, which we did get into. We only played the first match on stream because I couldn't show you all of it. It was one of those things where I have no problem playing maybe after the fact. Later on, we'll probably do like a full stream of that later on down the line. But yes, I probably won't person another WWE game until they put more focus on stuff to do aside from history lessons. Well, again, what is your last game that you actually played? I would recommend you, depending on what's the last game you played, I'll recommend you a certain game. What was the last game you played, Fatty God? Let me just skip this. Cool. And luckily they show you basically mostly everything that you need to do. So again, get him to moderate damage. That's all I wanted. Stuff like that. Just get him to moderate damage, right? Not some complicated crap that never actually happened in real life. God damn it, ref. Game in general. I went back to Skyrim after spending 80. No, I meant in WWE context, so I can recommend you a wrestling game to play. That's what I meant. I was watching, but Skyrim's cool. I was watching Kofi's first match in Japanese W. It's so sad that he's going. It's when it's so if the report I was to believe is accurate, the pay cuts was from like, okay, you're getting paid $2 million a year, so we're gonna cut it to $1 million. Or if the report is accurate. So here's the thing about the New Day and Kofi. I don't have no proof what they're getting paid. No one has proof, but I have an idea of how much they were getting paid per Dolph Ziggler, because Dolph Ziggler and Kofi pretty much started around the same time. Dolph Ziggler's last contract was over $1 million a year, and look what Dolph Ziggler was doing. Absolutely nothing in his last year. So you see why he cut him. So it's like, it's not, again, it sucks that, here's the thing, it sucks that Kofi and Xavier left. It's a huge blow to the tag team division, especially on Raw. Honestly, I think this is a perfect time to call up Hank and Tank. That we essentially, I feel like, so correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Now we're switching gears to wrestling in real life. I feel like the tag team best thrives when they're more character based than wrestling based. Like character wise, they're better off when characters are on top than actual wrestlers, because they could be stories be built out of them. When you focus on the wrestling for tag teams, it's like, it's fine, but that's only for like NXT people. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. The Revival, right? When the Revival came to Raw, they were basically dead in the water. When they were on NXT, they were the god of tag team division because it was just a different audience. The characters work well as tag teams, and the tag team titles and storylines are a lot better when there's actual characters involved. So I feel like Hank and Tank are characters. I mean, they're good wrestlers, don't get me wrong. They can go. Takeover is a perfect example of them versus Fraxium. That was like match of the night at Takeover, besides that triple threat main event. So they can go. It's just they're also characters. Those are the types of people we need in the tag team division that I think will make it thrive. Like New Day, for all intents and purposes, they were characters first, wrestlers second. And that's what made the tag team division work. We need characters again in the tag team division. But the thing with the New Day, they weren't, as I said, New Day got screwed because of the woman who put the accusations on Odyssey Jones that was supposed to be their muscle. And since that didn't work out, their storyline fell through, and it is what it is. So it's head or neck. I love how it says head or neck, like they're not one in the same spots where it'll get orange. Do you think the Bloodline Showcase was better than WrestleMania? Oh yeah, 100%. In terms of, because at least, again, I need focus, right? 40 years of WrestleMania was supposed to be 40 years of WrestleMania, but we only got 17 matches with only 40% of the WrestleMania arenas there. So we were missing out 60% of WrestleMania. The whole again, if it's focused. This was never supposed to be a Bloodline story from beginning to the end, from the early days to Jim Crockett to now. That was never the point of this. The whole point was everyone has a show, every superstar in the family is represented in this showcase by one match. That's perfectly fine. They established the ground rules, and I was perfectly okay with how they did it, and it felt fresh because every match was different. So yes, in terms of the execution of that, it's fine. CM Punk showcase, while I like CM Punk, unfortunately there's omissions that they should have added, and it's part of those things where it's like it's strongest when the career is over, like Stone Cold. You get a beginning, middle, and end of their career. CM Punk's career is still going, so it doesn't make any sense. But then on the flip side, I feel like I wish they could go back to this. 2K's strongest showcase was the first one, 2K15, with the rivalry one between John Cena, CM Punk, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Those are the ones you need to go back to, because you're getting different dynamics. You're literally seeing stuff through both of their perspectives, the rivalry's perspective, until it culminates in their one big final match. Like for Triple H and Shawn Michaels, it was the Hell in a Cell, and Cena and Punk, it was that Raw match in Jerry 13. People still consider like the best Raw match and like the modern era to this day. So it's like you have a big culmination. You see the perspective through both of their eyes, all that good stuff. Gotcha. I'm still playing Here Comes the Pain. I got it on my Steam Deck. If I'm feeling hyper violent, Def Jam Vendetta was good then. Yes, I played it on GameCube. Yes, I remember that. Now, I'm blind as a bat. I cannot see what half this crap says. Hit Rollins with 2 carrying power bombs to the ring. Why do I have to do that? Okay. I don't recall Roman ever doing this. God damn it. R1 plus L stick up. That's what I did. That's what I did, but he blocked it. And now I'm going to block his. Oh, speaking of Here Comes the Pain, shameless plug, I'm actually doing a Here Comes the Pain documentary. He's just going to block it, isn't he? If you become a member of the channel, you get to watch the first 3 minutes of the documentary. It's becoming a Creator Plus member. It's available now. It's only going to be available for members, the Here Comes the Pain documentary. I mean, the first 3 minutes. Let me re-clarify that. The first 3 minutes is currently up on my channel. Now, let's try this again. Okay, so I'm hitting R. So maybe I'm losing my mind here. R1 and up, right? That's what... He got me. He got me. No, he doesn't. Did I not know how to R1 and L stick up for the power bomb carry? Do I not know how to carry? Am I losing my mind here? After grab, okay, and after pressing circle, grab in any direction to carry. That's what I'm doing. But he's getting to me first though. How long do you plan on having documentary be? How well do you think it'll do? Well, well, to answer your second question, it doesn't matter what I think. It's all about how people perceive it. Like when I made that my last long form video, I was only gunning for, it's one of those, that video was one of those videos where I knew it would be 100K, but I didn't think it would have as many views as, I knew that was a 100K video, because I knew it was never seen before in our niche, but I didn't expect it to be where it's at right now, almost 1 million in like less than a year. So you have to have lower expectations. How long do I plan on having the documentary be? It's based on my documents, what I wrote out. It's gonna be around an hour and a half, but it's gonna be it's gonna be like around an hour and a half. Could be longer, but I'm looking for an hour and a half. There we go. Like Jesus Christ. There's one. Yo, best Roman. What was the best last long title reign? Well, I would argue his 4-year title reign was his best title reign. I think no one can deny that. I think your last video is the most viewed, actually. Yes, you are correct. If you ignore my most popular video, which has nothing to do with wrestling, you don't have to talk about that. But yes, in terms of wrestling, yes, it's my most viewed wrestling video. What's the next one? Hit him with every possible way. It includes barricade, big Irish whip. Where's the barricade? Why do I have to do that? Did this actually happen in real life? I don't think the significant part was getting thrown in the barricade, but whatever. I digress. I mean, if we ignore his 4-year I guess what you're really asking, Kwame, first of all, thanks for stopping by again on our last day of this event. I guess the real question you're actually asking, what was his best match of the entire title reign? That would be a better question. And for that, I gotta think about that. His best title defense, arguably. I really got to think about it, because a sleeper one was him and Logan Paul was actually better than what most people probably thought. Him and Logan Paul was actually good. Him and Sami Zayn story-wise was great in terms of the storytelling in the match. But obviously you had to go with Roman and Cody at WrestleMania 40. And outside the ring there, the stills, grab your opponent towards the stairs, Irish appeal. Wow, really? I gotta do that? What's the point? Cody is the best one in my opinion. In terms of, yeah, WrestleMania 40. Like his 39 match was good, but obviously at WrestleMania 40 ending is the best. Miz wasn't in any of the Roman Reigns match, so none of them were awesome. I get that's funny. Which is, it's funny that you mentioned the Miz, because he probably gave him his best matches for the IC title when he had it. It's so crazy. Like people always shit on Miz, but he's arguably the best worker in the entire company. Like not only, I mean, besides him, like him and Corbin were safe, but like Tim was just like working with anyone. He's like the best worker. Like he can work with Seth, who's obviously on a different league than Roman, but he can also work with Roman, being slow and whatever. It's like, it's so crazy. People I know shit on Miz a lot. Like they have him as a butt of jokes. Like every time someone new comes in the company, he has to feud to Miz. Like that's a bad thing for some reason. But it's like he's like the most solid worker in the entire company, arguably. And it's not even talking about wrestling. It's just in turn, because I know it's crazy. WWE is not always about wrestling. It's about the stories you can tell. So it's like, oh, come on. How did I miss that? How did I hurt myself? Come on. Hey, Miz made the ice at workhorse. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I know people shit on the Miz, but it's like, it's not that bad. Do you think WrestleMania 41 night 2 main event was, oh no, the night 1 main event stole the entire, night 1 was the main event of WrestleMania from 41, hands down. But then night 2 got it back this year with Roman and Punk. But no, night 1 hands down was the main event of WrestleMania. Damn, where did Seth come from with all this energy? I'm just trying to throw you in the steps. Steps. Nope. Without Miz, we wouldn't have gotten Monday Night. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, I put respect on his name. It's sloppy and makes his matches boring, and Jey Uso so choreographed. Feel like the thing with Penta. No, here's the thing with Penta and Rey Fenix. Right now, obviously Rey Fenix is more of a wrestler than Penta. Penta and Rey Fenix are perfect examples of what WWE prioritizes and looks for. Penta is the perfect package. He can wrestle, but he's a character first, which is why he's on Raw. Rey Fenix is obviously arguably the better wrestler than Penta, probably better than a lot of people in the company. But since he's a wrestler and not really a character, they have him stuck on SmackDown doing stuff. Maybe, again, obviously everything is going to go for Penta in the future when they finally form the Lucha Brothers on the main roster. But until they do that, they're just having Rey Fenix just sit there. But arguably Rey Fenix is the better wrestler than Penta. I don't think anyone can deny that. But since Penta is a character, they're going to prioritize Penta since they can make money off of him more as a character than Rey Fenix. I mean, I do like the Cody versus Randy match is better than Cody versus. Oh yeah, I mean, well, the biggest issue with Cody and Cena, and I listened to the podcast for them. Again, it's one of those things where it's like it was beyond their control. The biggest issue with the match was The Rock not showing up. Travis Scott showing up ruined everything. If you actually objectively look at the match is not bad between him and Cena at WrestleMania. Again, it's one of those perfect examples of the wrestling everyone always says. No one remembers the wrestling is just a moment. And even Cena pointing this out. When Cena returned at the Royal Rumble in 2008, does anyone actually remember what Cena did outside of his return? No one remembers what he did. They just remember that he showed up. But that's the point. No one remembers the actual match. They only remember the moment. And what ruined everything was Travis Scott showing up instead of The Rock. So that pretty much was the problem. So yeah. Is they active for a Superman punch? Yes, they are. I will do that. Now I will say the difficulty spike from 24 and 25 is something. I will say that for sure. There we go. Oh, outside. God damn it. Why I gotta do it outside? Shit. Rollins, hurry up and come outside. I only got 20 seconds. Come on. Come outside. 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 Come outside, you coward. Come outside. Oh my God. This is gonna hit it so close. Oh, come on. That was crazy. And I missed it. God damn it. God damn it. That was an epic sequence. We both went for he went for the knee and spear. Son of a bitch. Okay. And yes, they finally cut out the slingshot technology. So now we don't have any of that dumb crap. Remember when Dolph and Rollins carried the Raw? Oh yeah, they were the main event of Extreme Rules. I remember that, Quavi. Yeah, I definitely remember. That's what I said. It's like that era of the brand split. It was good, but then they kind of, fortunately, I feel like COVID well, to be fair, no, it was two things. Them getting Fox was probably like the worst thing to happen to them because they presented everything in different ways. SmackDown became less of that underground show and became, I think what killed the brand split was SmackDown becoming the main show and Raw becoming less a priority, and that's what kind of killed it. Because it's like SmackDown was more of like that underground show where they were getting away with everything, and like the writing was perfect because of Brian Warts, who was again the NXT writer, and then became SmackDown. But once they became SmackDown was priority, what basically what they were doing on Raw, they put on SmackDown, and that was basically what killed SmackDown. And the whole dynamic of the brand split. And again, like this alternate ending. Like, yeah, it's great that they have these cutscenes now, and this looks realistic and great. But again, with the Bloodline thing, they have an alternate cutscene, I believe. Hopefully. He should. Unless I have to do something, I believe this should be an alternate. This is when Rollins actually got it. And then Roman should let go. Unless he lets it count. In terms of visual concepts era, 2K, which game had the best? As of this moment, I actually do think that 2020. So if it wasn't for the slingshot technology, I would have said Cena's for 2K23. But arguably 2K25, I think I had the best showcase. Yes, over Punk. And see, now obviously that didn't happen in real life, but now Roman let it go. I feel like 2K25 showcase is the best one. I would obviously, this has come from CM Punk fan, but it's just, again, the issue with Punk is that in general, showcase, if you're gonna do a superstar showcase, it has to be from beginning, middle, and end. But if a singular one, if it's a collection or you're trying to tell a group story like this or 15, then that's fine. But since you're not, wait, this is not, oh. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? That's so crazy. How in the blue hell? And now Rollins is gonna get me. That piece of shit. Ah. Is this how it was supposed to happen in real life? Rollins was supposed to win? No, of course not. Nope. Get out of here, bro. Let's try that again, shall we? There we go. And again, like stuff like this, super finishers, obviously I go without the VSX of it. Like stuff like this is cool. It makes like no one's kicking out of this. And if he does, that would be shocking. And if you do, it actually meant something. Like, again, the gameplay, I would never trash the gameplay. This is the best gameplay we've gotten. And then even universe mode, despite me hating universe mode, what it's become, I would argue it's the best updated stuff that they've done at this point, which we're about to showcase in a second. So yes, for the first time since 2K19, they actually updated universe mode. Surprise, surprise. They didn't update Superstar mode, so you're not getting much out of that. So there's no point in playing Superstar mode. I wish they would make it like Here Comes the Pain, but you can't always get what you want. And yeah, to the point where you have to have I mean, they're telling you cut on tutorials, but I'm going to try to go over as much of the stuff as possible, since off the top of my head. The one creation mode I love to have back, story designer, but I see why they would never bring it back to stuff people make back then. It was wild. And you know how unhinged the community is now. I understand it, but you can have restrictions. Like you can put restrictions like curse words, and I know that's not what we are referring to. They can basically, if it's like an automated system or AI, I know the spooky word, but this is one of those cases where AI will be fine. They can flag stuff that is deemed inappropriate. So this shouldn't be an issue if they really cared. But one of the biggest updates in terms of this calendar itself. Now you basically have you can make any show on any night regardless, including PLE. So for example, you can have more than 3 shows per night. So let's say you wanted Raw, but however, you wanted create a new show, right? I can now either add another major show, add a minor show in the same day, or even add a PLE. So if I wanted to add custom show, we're gonna do WCW real quick. WCW wrestling. We're just gonna do WCW for the sake of this. Is there a WCW arena in here? Yes, it is. We're just gonna keep the graphic, but the point is, where's the image? We gotta change the image though. We gotta change the image. No, shows. He knows. Where is that WCW wrestling? Monday Nitro. Where is it? I see Bash at the. Where the hell is it? Did I miss it? See Halloween Havoc. Okay, there we go. There we go. So boom. Set as a what is it? Show details. Participants. Wait, a world champion must be selected. Isn't that nice? We will set it as the WCW title. Where are you? Where are he? We'll just do the NWO for the sake of this, and we'll just give it to Abyss. The whole point is, I just want to show you guys. Boom. Now it's more than one show, so as you can see, it's both Raw and Nitro at the same time, so it's like, that's cool. Obviously, since I didn't add enough wrestlers, they're not gonna let me do it, but you can do that. Also, you can add a PLE on any day. And yes, they finally updated where you can have 2 nights. Even though this doesn't make any sense, they did it this way to have the King and Queen of the Ring run respectively, so they did it that way. But even though I feel like they should just have a, now I know this is gonna sound crazy, if they want to do it properly, how about you have a story? I know, hear me out, 2K. This is gonna sound crazy, but this is gonna require you to go back to the SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 and 13 storyline of how y'all did the story branching in these games. To the lead up to the match, you have a 4-week thing where there's King of the Ring qualifying matches on the show. And then, just like in real life, the final 2 matches are on the event, where that way you don't have to do 2 nights of the actual tournament itself, a 1-night tournament. How would you go through the entire month? I know, but that requires them to go back to the storytelling, the branching, the storylines and cutscenes that I wish they would go back to from SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 and 12. If anyone remembers, that is literally the best way to play Universe Mode, is through those cutscenes. It's through the way they did it that way, where everything is unpredictable and AI does it themselves. The back end of the computer of this game, they do it themselves. You don't have to remember everything. They remember everything. I remember where, again, Undertaker got injured for a year. He came back and got Triple H, who injured him after a year of injury, all that stuff. They remember everything in the back end. But since they force you to basically create everything yourself, it takes out that I have a situation like this. But yes, also, you have the 2-night WrestleManias finally on Saturday and Sunday, so you don't have to make 14 matches on one night. You can finally split it, and also, again, with the added touch, NXT Stand and Deliver. So little stuff like this makes Universe Mode work. The only thing that's missing is going back to that branching storylines and stuff from 11 to 13 way of doing it. The one query, yeah, it kind of messed up that you can't open up community creations in front of children on 2K24. I know you can't. It's a wild world. Universe Mode is a game, biggest updates and some sort of replay value. Yeah, that's what I said. With this game, there's replay value. Again, it's just my personal opinion of how I think by no means, this is now, Universe Mode is finally playable. Do not get me wrong. Universe Mode is finally playable to people. I just am a person where I know where it will truly shine, especially with the draft now. The only thing that is missing here, this is basically Universe Mode's the biggest thing holding it back. Yes, this was not the game that they added. Keep in mind, this is not the game that they add to draft. That's next year's game, which we're not looking at. And also the way they do the matchmaking, like everything's there for this to be the perfect Universe Mode objectively. And I will be playing it every single. If they were to, it's very simple, guys. Here, 2K, do you want me to rebuy this game off like 2 different systems? Here's what you need to do. You have the draft, everything's there. If you were to just rework the story system and make it just like, you have Brian Williams there, he knows how to do it. If you were to just take the story system that was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 through 13, y'all can just watch I know y'all never gonna watch the streams, but y'all can just watch my stream to see exactly what I'm talking about and implement it to the current games. I would never personally complain about anything. I don't care what y'all do with the island or MyFACTION. I'll just stay in Universe Mode and live my life every day until the next game comes out. If y'all just do it that way, I could care less. But essentially they had where like basically the first match and the last match are the biggest matches of the night, and then like they go from there. There's 2 ways of essentially editing the show. I believe it started here. Show details. No, not that. Where is it? Unless it's not in this one. They must have added in 26, which is fine if they. Yeah, so classic. No, so they added in 26. Gotcha. Where how they book it, but essentially how they booked it in this one is the first, like real life, the first and last matches are most important, and it's everything in between. But in 2K26, they did the retro way, where back in the day, it's the lower card building up to the main event. So how it's pretty much how you did. Like I said, the systems is there. With the systems are there. All you have to do is just make it work with the storylines. I find it crazy we still don't have 3 to 8 man rivalries and are stuck on 1v1 and 2v2 rivalries that have been the same since Universe Mode into 16 years. Oh no, and again, I don't think you were there when I said it. Their excuse for it was, and I quote, that requires to animate them. So fucking animate them. What's stopping you? Oh, that's right. MyFACTION the island. That's what's stopping you. You're making so much money off theirs, and there's no incentive for you to do that. I know that's going to cost money, no shit, but there's no incentive to you for that. So they're not. I know, so just fucking animate them. The same thing with the curve entrance. Their excuse was we have to animate them. Just animate 10. It's very simple. People aren't going to complain. Animate 10 generic entrances for curved stuff at the start. 5 men and 5 women. Make them broad enough so it could work for anyone. For the curved entrances, and then they could just resume back to their normal entrance once. Because the thing is, these entrances are in phases, right? Literally, all we're asking for is create like 10 generic ones for the first phase of the ramp, and then we go about our business, where they just have to walk in that particular direction, and then you call it a day. It's literally, they're making it seem like it's more. They're gonna have to rework the entire entrance model if they do it that way. No, it's literally just the first 10 seconds of everyone's entrance. They just have to do. That is literally it. I am like simplifying to the smallest degree. That's literally all. Actually, I'm about to actually let me demonstrate what they are basically complaining is like an impossible task. This is all they literally have to do. Well, I just want to make sure I'm showing everything else. So that got reworked. Again, the matchmaking logic. Oh, by the way, promos are now added. However, again, it's due to this rivalry system needs to go. This has to go. All right. I don't want rivalry systems. I just want the universe mode to just stuff that happens and it will make sense in the back end. This essentially kills the immersion because what happens is they're basically making you do the stories yourself. I don't want to do that. I want the whole point of universe mode for it. Again, what they did, again, this is me being a universe mode purist. What they did, I know what they did. What they did was essentially to create a story route. It's like they're manually making you make these stories yourself along the way with the rivalry actions, instead of just letting the AI do it organically and just remember it and then everything's fine. Why is it that the Xbox 360 PS2 are capable of doing stuff like that but not the main one? I just couldn't tell you, for real. Like, why can't an NPC have beef with me? I know, like, this is my biggest gripe. Again, it's like, this is again my biggest gripe with all of this, right? Everything's there. And again, I like the fact that you can like switch. You can swap out stuff, L2 to base, modify it. You see, like I said, view base match. See, look, there's already a if you see right here, there's more to it. There's actually them attached to it as well. You can make it a tag team base. It's gonna turn into a tag team because of the rivalry action. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's already hinted, and then same thing. See, like, this is what I mean. What is basically happened is they're already telling me what's going to happen. This is actually going to turn to Gunther and CM Punk. And this is going to turn into a tag team match based on rivalry action. And again, I can do a rivalry action. This is essentially what's killing the mode for me. I showed this in 2K23 briefly. You're essentially already telling you what to do. So again, I'm going to do ambush during entrance. Okay. And then Bronson Reed can, sportsmanship. I know I'm literally doing the exact opposite of what they do in real life, but they're manually doing where it should just organically happen. I shouldn't know what's happening. That's basically my biggest gripe. If they would just take out this and let them cook like it was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 to 13, it would be the best universe mode. I would never complain about anything. Y'all can go microtransaction city with the island MyFACTION. I'm never going to touch it anyway. I'll never complain about you guys. Just fix the story system and we're good. We are good. I will leave you guys alone. But that's all I'm asking for. But yes, for the sake of, we're going to use, who's the best example? Well, I can't even use Gunther or, we'll just use JD McDuck. Okay, we're just going to play what I'm referring to, the curved entrances, which we're about to get into. We'll just start the show. Simulate. Or random, I don't care. Yeah, see the rivalry thing? Yeah. Like, it was going to turn into a, I guess it turned into a tag match or something like. I guess depending on who won, I guess it turned into it. Yeah, you see, it did. It 100% did. Simulate random. We're gonna do Gunther. We'll see what happens here. You see the action. You see already. It went from Seth Rollins to Gunther, instead went to Punk because they already know I think what's gonna happen is CM Punk is gonna fight him instead, and this is what I mean. I think it's the rivalry, or the rivalry's Punk and Gunther, and then okay, now I understand. They're showing what the rivalry is before it even happens, which sucks actually. Now that I think about it, I think that's even worse. So they're showing you the rivalry before it actually happens. This is what I mean. I want to be surprised. I actually want to be surprised. So like, this is what I mean. In terms of the current entrances, this is what I mean. All they have to do, I'm going to count how many seconds it is. This is or me or Gunther's most boring bad guy. It's not that he's boring. It's just, no, I actually have no issue with Gunther. Gunther's playing his role perfectly. Like, this part right here. 1 through, it's like what, 8 seconds right now? That's it. All you have to do is animate the first 8 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds of everyone's ramp entrance, and then you could just call it a day. That's literally it for the curved entrances. Just make 10 generic ones and then place them with each other. That's all I wanted to show off, and then you get the idea. But yes, universe mode with those little stuff, and then with the next year's game with the updated draft and whatnot, it's the perfect sandbox mode to play in. But they need to rework the story system back to what it used to be from 11 to 13. But I know no one's gonna listen to me, so we're gonna have it for another year. But no, in terms of Gunther, he's not boring. It's just his gimmick is, again, he's he's the old school professional wrestler. I get his gimmick, and he is had a match WrestleMania this year. I don't think Gunther had a match WrestleMania this year. No, he did. He fought Seth Rollins at the very last moment. It was supposed to be against Rey Mysterio. Well, he got injured. The timing of it, Rey Mysterio got injured, but then he was able to get added to the last match. But by that point, Gunther was doing other stuff, so they gave him to Seth, and then Ray finally got cleared, and then they put him in the 6-man. He was supposed to face Ray at WrestleMania. Yeah, that's basically what happened. They updated the curse stomp in this game, or 26. I don't know which one. So universe mode is updated. I can actually finally show you my faction for the first time, even though I'm completely against the mode, but I can actually show it to you because the servers are up. Oh, for 26, they updated it. No, that was match. Honestly, God, that was the match in the night for night one for me, for this WrestleMania. Gunther and Seth, they tore the house down in that match. So first of all, the idea of me logging to my faction, you're already telling me actually just play 2K26 is fine. They see there's no new advertisements. We're just gonna go to live events real quick, just to like, they're still up. Again, you get Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams. Oh, Keanu Jordan as that. Again, I just don't care. I don't care. I know the new thing was the World Tour thing, which is basically for personal. Yeah, your persona card. It's like, again, there's my issue. I guess I can unlock all of these. That's nice, but see, I haven't touched any of this because I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You see how much was like? I just don't care. I didn't do any of these. I just don't care. You get Kalani. Like, this is fine. This is all fine, right? My biggest gripe with this, why am I had to do unlock personas this way where they were already in the game the previous years? This is they gave this to you for free, I think, in to either this one or the other one in 2K24. One of those solos they gave to you for free. Either that one or Sheamus, I think. I just don't care. It's like CM Punk, like, all this seems like fine in theory, but it's like all this grinding. Why can't I just 2K? It's very simple. Like, this stupid shit, right? Look, I know they have it now because the game's over, so I think all the personas are in the marketplace anyway, which I look like it is. Actually, not all of them. Because, for example, I still got to grind them out. I don't care, 2K. Look, it's very simple. See this? Well, first of all, I'm not paying that egregious price of 100. So how much? So look, this is what I mean where this is so ridiculous. Keep in mind, an alternate attire is 110,000 virtual currency. Let's see how much that's actually is worth. $50. I have to spend $50 just to get an alternate attire of someone that was in the previous game. Have they lost their goddamn mind? Just charge $5. That's it. I know that sounds crazy in and of itself. I know because $1 they're never gonna do it. I think $5 is the most reasonable thing for all these attires. I think $5 is a perfect cutoff point. People like think about it this way. What is it? 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 in a row. 5 times 7. They can basically, if you count all the personas, you times it by 5. They probably make more money off of every single player entirely instead of doing it this way. I gotta spend $100. No, $50 just for is that right? $50 just for a CM Punk alternate attire. For what? I don't care. I remember my last persona guy was Charlotte 19, but Charlotte 19 was literally in the game, base game last year, correct? Am I losing my mind? If that was the Charlotte Flair for WrestleMania 35. This is like I just don't. Well, when I say last year, I mean 2K24. That's what annoys me about it. Maybe it's the yearning for trash that Triple H broke into Randy's house and Austin posed a Dr. Down house. I always remember that scene. No, again, it was just back then storylines. It's like we're in a different world where unfortunately we can't do those type of storylines anyway because people they will complain. Triple H trying to find a perfect blend of story and matches at the same time. People when the air see back then the television, it was strictly television. Like who cared about work rate? It didn't matter. They were just trying to beat WCW. They did it by any means possible back like stuff like that. I talk about Triple H and Randy's out, but like the Austin stuff, hilarious stuff. They're trying to do the perfect blend of, especially now with no live events and everything's just TV. They're trying to get the perfect balance of basically because essentially the reason why stuff is how it is with WWE. The premium live events are worth less than it is. Basically, TV is worth more than the actual pay-per-view. But the sole purpose back in the day. So again, it's reversed now. If you really why, if people wonder why the premium live events are currently the way they are, because they're basically worthless in the grand scheme of things. Outside of Saudi Arabia, these premium live events are worthless. What do I mean by that? It is more valuable. Stuff that happens is more valuable on TV than it is. Because back in the day, the whole point of TV was to build to the premium live event. Now, premium live events are just there. The TV is where they make most of their money, are these TV deals. These $1 billion TV deals from Netflix did not exist back then. So that's why they try to put everything in on the TV, and that's why premium live events don't feel like how they used to be, or pay-per-views, however you want to call them, because those don't matter anymore. Obviously, they're gonna put their best foot forward with like the big four, like SummerSlam and WrestleMania, or Rumble and Survivor Series. But outside of that, and sometimes Money in the Bank, all the other shows are worthless. Literally worthless to them in the grand scheme of things. Like, really look at the Backlash show. I'm not saying those matches were bad, but there's a reason why they only do 5 matches. They're giving you the least amount of possible. They had to put out something. Because they're not worth a damn. Think about it. Probably, look, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. You saw that Backlash card, right? Remember that Backlash card? We had, Roman and Jacob, which is fine. Asuka and Io, which is fine. Danhausen, The Miz, and Kit Wilson. United States title match, and I'm drawing Seth and Breaker. Cool. Let's compare that to the lineup they gave you at the first Raw on Netflix. And this is what I mean. Seth versus Punk for the first time ever. Roman versus Solo in the tribal combat, whatever you want to call it. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre, and it was Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre, and there's one more I'm drawing a blank on. Those matches are worthy of a pay-per-view, but they put it on TV instead. That's what I mean. They're focused on the TV more than the actual premium live event. I'm not saying Roman versus Jacob is a premium live event. It should have been added 3 more months of feuds, but again, what I'm trying to say is their focus, there's worth more to be on TV than it is on those premium live events. Then at this game, we got Goldberg Island mode. You're right. And I don't have the island, even though I wasn't going to play it anyway. So basically, I got screwed. I can't play as Goldberg and Nikki Bella. We're going to see what's in my GM. I don't think, is there anything new in my GM this year? I don't know. Yes. Oh, how could I forget? You could play online, which I highly doubt anyone's playing online currently on PC anyway. So you can finally play online. That was essentially the biggest addition. So they already told me. They already told you what it was. Yeah, but back then characters could wrestle as well. I mean, again, there's no more live events. So basically, unless you come up from NXT or you're Penta and Rey Fenix, you have experience elsewhere. The expectation is you should already know what you're doing. They can't get their reps in. So that's why yeah, you're right. They could wrestle too. It's like, I'm not saying no one can wrestle in WWE, obviously, but it's like a lot of those people. That's why there's a lot more talking and whatnot, because they only wrestle. But they need to bring back live events. They need to get the reps in. That's part of the problem, but they won't because they're unprofitable and they only wrestle once a week. Like Drew McIntyre, at least they only wrestle twice a month, if that. He hasn't wrestled this whole month because he's been going. Like, this is my point. They're getting paid to do less now, which is why a lot of people got cut because they realize this is. Well, people here, quick little rant because people still don't understand these releases. Do you truly think that Triple H really? Do you truly? Okay, let's think about this for a second. Do you guys truly think Triple H really wanted to release Kairi Sane and Aleister Black? Of course not. Did you like the show? I like this showcase was the best showcase that they had currently. I would like CM Punk if it was a completed showcase and they had the Jeff Hardy rivalry, which they clearly could have done. We're gonna look at my rise, which they clearly could have done because they have him as the ringside pass. And you see, I did it twice basically. We're just gonna show you how the opening is. Again, this is arguably also the best My Rise 2 since 2K22. They did it right with this game. 2K26 My Rise is an abomination or whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what to tell you with 2K26 My Rise. For the price tag of this game, I feel like they should include a year of PLE access. No, you mean for 2K26, Fatty's guy. For that price, yes. One thing I noticed is the menu style for 23, 24 the same, 25, 26 were the same as well. It makes you wonder if we're getting a new menu. Probably not. I wouldn't put it past them. We're probably not. Think about it. They cut off last gen, but it's still the same as 25 for 26. They're not. Which game had the best menu screen? Personally, again, my personal preference. I know people hate it. I actually like 2K17's menu screen, the simplicity. The second best one is 2K19 for sure. But I personally like 2K17. The clear design, people walking in the background, all that cool stuff. He's gonna say it's a new era in WWE, right? I know, I kid. He is gonna say it though. I know he is.
As you all know, we've been building a new era.
He said the thing. He said the thing. He said the thing. I know it's a meme now, but it's like he said the thing.
But to forge this path, we need talent who can rise to the occasion.
09 had the best menus. 09 was pretty much a rework of 08, but it's not that those menus were bad. It's a new era, Joe. I think I know it's a meme now, basically. It's that, and when he was doing the press conferences, it was like, that's what we do. They have like a whole compilation, like a 3-minute compilation of him saying that's what we do. It's so hilarious. I know they're taking the piss out of him, but it's like, that is like so hilarious. I think we need a draft too. I think, well, I think we do need a draft. I feel like some people are on the wrong brands.
But as a chief content officer, I'm gonna drop.
Oh, I thought you meant like the 2K. Well, in terms of overall menus, my favorite menu of all time. I thought we were just talking about 2K. So essentially, yeah, the cool thing is you can, I mean, and essentially who you pick here is your main character for all intents and purposes. The other one's the secondary one. So be mindful of that, but obviously this game we can pick the men. My favorite menu, oh, that's a hard one. I like SmackDown versus Raw Arena, not for the reasons you might think because the Divas on it. I mean, although that was a nice addition, I'm not gonna lie, but because you had the option to switch between Raw and SmackDown when they really cared about the brand split. So you see, same thing, top star on Raw, SmackDown, other promotion. These actually matter because they play into your character. These don't seem like minimal. Like I said, I liked how they did it this way. And since they're just one universal story instead of two different branch paths, I like how they did it this way. Okay, we're just going to pick Raw. But yeah, I like the original SmackDown versus Raw menu. Background and the menu. Oh yeah, like those parallax things that they did, it was cool. Like I said, they cared back then. Now 2K is just all formulaic now. They just go with the flow. What year is the last draft that meant something? And oh Jesus Christ. Personally, I think like that had lasting impacts on the entire brand. I don't even think it was a 2024 draft, to be honest with you. Personally, I think it was a 2016 draft when they brought back the brand split. Because after that, then it was 2019. They kept doing every year after that. Well, no, they did it from 16, then they did 19, then they did the 2021 draft, then they did I might scratch that. They did the 2020 draft, and then they did the 2021 draft, and then they skipped a year. They did it back in 2023, 24. They didn't do one for 25. They haven't done one for basically 2 years. But the last impactful one was 100% the 2016 one, because they gave Raw and SmackDown identities. Like that roster lineup for both brands were the strongest they've ever been from 2016 to 17. Like those, like if you think of Raw, you thought of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks, Braun Strowman, even the cruiserweights on SmackDown. You thought about AJ Styles, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. When they got drafted, well, Becky Lynch mainly, and then you had John Cena, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura. Those people. It's like they were like they, and then eventually when the New Day got over there, that lineup was good. I don't care. Guess you picked him last time. I like genuinely don't care. We're just trying to get to the meat of the matter here. Don't know if you brought this up, but 2024 Raw Arena was supposed to be the default Raw. I didn't bring it up in your video. I didn't bring it up for this one, but yes, thanks to Wrestling again. You guys should look at Wrestling IG. He's the one that is showcasing this stuff, the pre-release versions of these games. Oh, it actually also had a quick save feature, which I believe was in 2K24, maybe. Yeah, I think it started 2K25. Yes, the original design for Raw was supposed to be the original logo, but they were able to add the Netflix one right before the game got released, so that was cool of them. What's the best draft of all time? Now, of all time, the last one, so you see, now that's a better question. Personally, my favorite draft of all time probably was the one, funny enough, it was the one where Vince got taken down by his money thing. It's not even for that. It's just because, like, the picks, for example, Triple H going to SmackDown. I was shocked as a kid. Like, Triple H never left Raw. He never. That was his. Like, Triple H leaving Raw was like unheard of, to me at least. Him leaving Raw. Then you have Punk go to Raw. Who else? Like, that was like the biggest one because, like, holy shit, Triple H actually left Raw. I would have never thought that. But yeah, personally, I forgot what year that was. That had to have been 2008 then, right? That had to have been 2008. Yeah, it was 2008 draft then for me. When he left Raw, that was like, holy shit. 05 for you. What happened in 05? Was that like Batista going to SmackDown and John Cena going to Raw? I guess that's up there as like the most impactful, but personally for me, my favorite all time, just because I never would have thought Triple H would have went to SmackDown a day in my life. And then again, but now we go back to reality. You know, that was a good setup. Again, same menus, same positions. Everyone's acting exactly the same, just a different coat of paint. That's why I say they should just get rid of My Rise, just focus all their attention. Because again, replay value, right? Again, there is no replay value in My Rise after you first beat it. It's just you want these games to last long. Like, there's no showcase for. There's always a need for a showcase. My Rise is pretty much redundant at this point. With your creative wrestler, again, if I really want to take my creative wrestler somewhere, I'd rather just put them in universe mode and just go crazy there. My Rise is so redundant at this point because it's just a wasted. Because my biggest issue with My Rise is that they waste or just tell an original story like back in the day with season mode of Raw and SmackDown. Now, I want to play as an actual wrestler and go through some crazy shit here. I don't want to play as creative wrestler. I don't care about me creative wrestler. I just want to. That's what universe mode is for, basically. Put your creative wrestler in there. Or create a story if you ever want to bring that back. I feel like the redundancy of My Rise... It peaked right here. 2K20, let it be known. 2K25, My Rise, it peaked right here with My Rise. 2K26 is an abomination. It's just like... It's just scrap it at this point. That's the effort you're going to put into My Rise with 2K26. Just freaking scrap it. No, you're all good, Mustafa. I appreciate you stopped by the last day of the event. The best draft was the first one. Yeah, with Undertaker getting drafted to what was it, SmackDown, I believe. Was SmackDown or Raw? No, he got drafted to Raw. I think he did get drafted to Raw in the very first draft. I mean, it had its moment, but just personally for me, that Triple H one was as like my eyes lit up when I saw Triple H guy. I never would have thought that. That's personally for me. But I do recommend playing the My Rise story for 2K25. Good stuff. I think we pretty much covered everything. We don't really have time for the underground. But in terms of that, like I said, if you're coming, so again, with 2K25, if you're coming from 2K22, skip 23 and 24, go straight to 25. It is definitely worth the upgrade. 2K23 and 24 are not worth playing, honest to God. It's 25. This is the most significant upgrade in terms of everything. Gameplay, and again, universe mode. If you just want your replay value after you do showcase, this is where you would do universe mode right here. Then Underground died down already. Well, because it's only in NXT. That's the thing. But that's even more of my point. We're missing Iron. So basically, in terms of matches left, what other match types can they? That's why I said 2K27 is so interesting. What can there's only 2 matches. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. There's only 2 matches off the top of my head that they can add to this game. Then we have the entire suite of every single, except for a flag match. I don't anticipate them ever doing. My bad. There's 4 match sites off the top of my head. The Iron Survivor, the Championship Scramble, which they need to bring back, is so simple. They could literally do it right now. There's 5 people in the ring. A flag match and a strap match, which then it could be a chain match, which could all those variations. Those are essentially the only 4 matches that he could do. Will they do them? I don't know. 23-24 had me struggling so hard to still play it. Still hard to stay in to play. They're worthless games. There's no replay value to them. Everything, like, there's nothing, even though I know 2K23 added war games, but it's like, okay, war games in the next game. The problem with 22 to 26, for the most part, the biggest issue is that they're not self-contained. They're not standalone titles like back in the day. There's always a reason to go back and play Here Comes the Pain, 08, 09, 10, 6, all of them. There's always a reason to go back and play those games. There's no reason. Basically, once you can play 2K22 for the novelty and then go straight to 2K26. Even, I mean, although I do recommend 2K25, just go to 2K26. You're not missing anything. When's the next consoles coming out? I don't know. I don't have that information. I believe, obviously, the Xbox console is coming out next year, and the PS6, Lord knows. Lord, I have no idea when the PS6 is coming out. They can also add a lumberjack. You're right. That is another match that they're missing. But if they're gonna do that though, they need to have 10 people. At 10 people, and they could technically do it right now thanks to the underground match in theory. But they need to have 10 people total in a arena at one time. That's like 8 people, 4 on one side, 4 on the other, and then you have 2 people in the ring fighting. I feel like that'll make the lumberjack match legit, and I feel like they could do it now since they dropped last gen. But of course they won't do it. I'm saying that again since they brought back men versus women matches. Women overall shouldn't be higher than 50, just like Here Comes the Pain. But no, you see, here's the I actually, so funny part is, I actually agree with you, Mustafa. Here's the problem with that. There's 2 problems with that. One, because you can adjust the attributes anyway. So the overalls are vanity metrics. They don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things anyway, because anyone can just adjust it. The second problem is, in the age of the internet, you just can't do that. I know people are gonna be complaining over a virtual number. You know how much backlash they're gonna get that they see every woman's 50, and like a jobber like Raul Mendoza is like 70 or 80. You just can't do that in the modern day. I know what you're saying, like realistically speaking, but it's like you just can't do that. 26 feels very different. 25 not towards gameplay, but no, because there's little stuff that they add. For example, the pre-match type stuff. They have the freaking podium. You can now do running, crawl, like little stuff that it's always the little stuff. The gameplay was a lumberjack match in this game back in the day. I think Here Comes the Pain was the last time it was in. When was the last time lumberjack match was in? I believe Here Comes the Pain was the last one. But look, little stuff like it, when they actually focus on the gameplay instead of stupid the faction and the island, it's good. Good stuff. But we essentially reached so yeah, this is essentially the end of the event. What can I say about 2K25? The gameplay. Once again, 25, and pretty much my sentiments of 25 is gonna be the same as 26. This is the best gameplay we're gonna probably get in the wrestling game, which is fine in the modern day. I feel like it is a perfect balance between simulation and arcade. But the reliance of actually, thank you, Mustafa. We're not done. Yeah, because there's a long list of I was trying to get the playlist. This is the end of an era. The roster. A lot of people are going. There's so many people going. So for NXT, these were the last games of Ashante, Cora Jade, Duke. Eddie Thorpe was his first and last appearance. Gigi Dolan, Jakara Jackson, the Gallus brothers, the Gallus boys, Joe, Mark, and Wolfgang. They're all gone. Who else? How's Nikki Lyons still here? Beyond me. I believe. No, Rich Holland is in 2K26, right? Is he? I don't know. Ora Mensa's going, his first and last appearance. Sean Spears made his return. Wesley. So the thing with Wesley is he's technically in 2K26. He's just in the thanks to Wrestling IG, he's just, you have to, before the day one patch, but Wesley is technically in 2K26. He's just not in the current game. Has an article on wrestlers that are cut from 2K26. Oh, okay, cool. Let me look that up real quick. Thank you. Makes my life a lot more easier, doesn't it? Cut. Guide, cut. Okay, yeah, now that we're officially in, I'll just do this. There we go. So here's everyone that got cut. Thank you. I appreciate that, Wrestling IG. So here's everyone. Since we're in the, because before I had to just guess, since we're literally in the modern timeline now, we can officially look at every single person who's got cut in the current game. So these are basically last appearances of the following: Akam, Andrade, Ashante, Baron, which sucks. Blair Davenport. I like Blair Davenport. I again, she's one of those people who has a great look to her, but they never gave her a chance. Especially with the accent, I feel like there are a lot. I know this sounds crazy. I feel like their logic was, well, we have an accent with like Rhea Ripley and Becky, so we don't really need her. She has a great look to her. Braun Strowman, which is crazy to me. Carlito, even though he was DLC in 24. Carmella, oh my god, this gutted me. Carmella was like literally one of my favorites. Her and Becky. And thank God Becky's still here. And I know I got Bianca, but Carmella, I love Carmella. She was great. She was such a great character. She was like one of those modern, she was like one of the last few women modern characters that like were legit a character, a legitimate reason to hate her and like her at the same time. I know Chelsea Green essentially took that role, but like Carmella, come on. Cedric, Cora, Dakota, which is so crazy to me, Duke, Eddie Thorpe, Lecture. This is her first and last game, by the way. G Dolan. Giovanni is so crazy what they did to him. Indy, it is what it is. At least she's in TNA. Isla, Jakar, her first and last. The Gallus boys, crazy. They're going. They were in 24, I believe, 24, 25, and now 26. The Good Brothers going. Cross going. Katana and Kaden going. Orm's first and last appearance. They were in 24, and now they are. I mean, they were in 25. They were not in 24. This was like they came back, right? Am I tripping? They were not in 24. Yeah, I knew it. So they're their return and last appearance. So that's fun. Scarlett, Shayna is so crazy to me, even though she's been appearing on and off on NXT. So crazy. Shotzi, Sonya, at least she's in TNA now. Tamina, which is so crazy because as far as I'm aware, she's technically still under contract, as far as I'm aware. And also last game to have Bruno Sammartino. I know they, for some reason, after all this time, they decided to finally cut him. I guess he wasn't worth the contract anymore, even though he's dead. Tegan Knox, Valhalla, Wesley, he's technically in 2K26 thanks to you, Wrestling IG. But I know he's only in the before the day one patch. And Wolfgang, then the Legends. Bruno, as you said, George, Harley, the Head Shrinkers, even though they were in the right? It's just literally Rakish. Like, what? The Jake the Snake, which is actually crazy to me because he was one of those people like Billy Gunn, even though he's technically contracted to AEW, they had no problem putting him in the game. So I don't know what's possessed him to stop doing it now. Peter Maivia and the Ricky, that's also, it's because he also, but thing is, he was in these games playing appearing in AEW, which is so crazy. So why now? So again, wasted effort. These people were DLC, but now they're all gone. This is what I mean. We're missing, well, this was because they didn't make the cut, even though they made it, they didn't make the cut now. Even though these are just gimmick changes, they should add them as, honest to God, if they want to have, for the free tier, just have alternate tires for Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Add these in. Hopefully they will add them in eventually. I don't see how hard that would be. They should definitely do that. Obviously, they're all in 2K26 with the ringside pass, or ringside, however you call it now. I'm so surprised that Ariana Grace is not in here. Darkseid should 100% been in the main game. Lainey Reed is like bad timing. because Jazz, oh my God, just talk about bad timing. Because I know Jasmine left earlier, then they put in Lainey, but it's like, goddamn, bad timing. They made her join. Lucas should have been in, like Tony, like he should have been in like 2 games ago, but he never did it, so he's already gone. OTM, they should have basically been in since Jada's been in. I know they're not a thing anymore. Shiloh was too late. Vanity Project was technically too late. Same thing with Kendall Gray, but I feel like they could have put in the effort. Where's Kendall? Yeah. They could have been free DLC for the free tier, hopefully, but they're not going to do that. I'm a big fan of Mark. I'm so glad his overall is not, but how is he higher than Andrade? Oh, Andre. I guess one's still alive and the other one isn't. That's their logic. And he's 22 in 2K26. Henry is 92, but Kane is 79. Now that is crazy. That is actually crazy. That's why I said overalls don't mean anything. You can say the same for Pat McAfee in 2K24, which started the whole trend of celebrities being DLC. I know it's a wasted slot. Is Pat even in 2K26? Is he? I have no idea. I haven't looked at 2K26 that much. I only played it for like 20 hours. I actually have no idea. Is he still in 2K26? And I don't see him listed here, so that would imply. Okay, so I'm about to say that would imply that. But yeah, so, and we're gonna have even 20 more people cut. So with 2K27, so 2K27 is gonna be looking a lot interesting. I mean, there's a bunch of new stars from NXT and Evolve that they could add, as well as essentially the way I see it is, it's not really that big of a deal because now you can add way more AAA in NXT stars like the Vanity Project, Kendall Gray, and whatnot. So they're gonna get an equal amount. Essentially, people who got cut is gonna be very, like I said, essentially, it's not like we're gonna have a lesser roster. We pretty much have the exact same number. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the number count is gonna be exactly the same because they're just gonna place those 20 people with the NXT and Evolve and AAA people, and even probably some TNA people too, like people who actually appeared on the television. Like perfect example, even though he hasn't appeared in a long time, I could totally see Moose and Santana actually appearing in 2K20. Definitely Santana more likely to Moose. Like Santana, I can 100% see showing, and maybe crazy. I know it's gonna be crazy. Dolph again as Nick Nemeth. I can potentially see that. I can potentially see them doing that, just which would be hilarious because I can assure you they're just gonna use the Dolph Ziggler model from 2K23, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off. We're paying for DLC Dolph Ziggler from 2K23, which is it's gonna be funny stuff. But yeah, this is it, guys. The end of the 25-day journey that I started all the way back on April 17th. I appreciate you all who stuck with me this whole time. I know a lot. Basically, no one started appearing to Here Comes the Pain stream, which is fine, but it's just I personally did not think no one was gonna show up anyway. Due to Ziggle Wiggle. It's just, yeah. You guys are amazing. Thank you all. Like Mustafa, I think you've been here the longest out of everyone. I believe Slade after that, then Kwame. I remember all your names that you started appearing every single day. And again, I don't take your time for granted. I know y'all could have been doing other things. Cause I did it at 8 o'clock. So I know y'all could have been doing anything. Y'all could have been watching Raw or I know NBA's is on right now this whole time. The NBA playoffs was on this whole time. The fact that you guys were here listening to me talk about old wrestling games, y'all could have done anything else in the world, but I that's why that means I know what that means, but I truly do appreciate that. I know not all you guys are from America, like Mustafa, for example, is from Iraq, but like y'all could have been doing so much other stuff with your time, but you chose to be here, and I appreciate it. So this is the end. As I said earlier, where I'm definitely gonna take a week off for the next probably month or so. Is gonna be back to doing some shorts, and then when I return doing live streams, we're gonna do like 3 a month minimum, but they're gonna be longer streams. So instead of 2 hours, they're gonna be minimum 4 hours. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. And again, just plugging this once again, I'm gonna be gone, but there's some stuff available. I do have a membership, Creator Plus, that's active right now with 4 emotes. And right now, a members only video, which is available right now. I talked about the Here Comes the Pain documentary. The first 3 minutes of it is out on my channel for members. It's only gonna be for members only. There's gonna be some videos that are gonna be members first, but this one right here, the first 3 minutes of Here Comes the Pain documentary, is 100% members only. So you guys can look forward to that. Well, I'll be taking a week off because tomorrow, nope, this was it. Because this was the whole point of this. It was never going to be 2K26. This was how we got to 2K26. That was the whole point. because everyone's already talking about 2K26. There is nothing I'm going to say is going to be any different. I just wanted to show you guys how we got to this point. 'Cause I know this like been like the most talked about game in terms of negativity wise from people since 2K20. I just wanted to show people how we got to this point, good or bad, the journey through it. So that was my take on it. So there's no 2K20. We're probably gonna do. I'm gonna do this type of stream for 2K26 once all the DLC is out, because that's where we could tell the full story. I don't want to write a story where the chapters are still being written. In this case, the DLC and patches. So 2K26 might look a lot different by the time I talk about it, and that's where we're probably gonna do this type of stream. But yes, thank you everyone who's here. I appreciate you all. One final shout out to people who appeared here for the last stream: Michael, Sarah, Slade, Wrestling IG, Alex, Fatty is Golly for the first time. Appreciate you. Bob Meek, Space Ghost, thanks for stopping by again. Michael, I already said that. Mustafa, thanks for being here, man, on the last stream. And yeah, thanks for Wrestling IG. Thank you all. Like I said, at minimum, I'm probably gonna be silent for like a week. I need some sleep. But yep, this is it. Thank you all. I'll be back eventually. I will be back. But take care, everyone. Thanks. Thank you all for this.